Okay, g'day everybody. Welcome to Starbase Expanded number 24. This week we're going to cover a little bit of Artemis stuff and all the sites around Starbase, and then maybe do a little bit of catch up on all the main force sites. So let's start with some Artemis. I'm going to have Jake to help me out with this. So this is over on our RGV server and space updates, and they've named the 4 astronauts for Artemis 3 mission. So are these, I'm not familiar with astronauts. Are these, Jake, are these familiar people to you?
Yeah, I mean, Andrew Douglas, he was one of the backup astronauts for the Artemis 2 mission. Frank Rubio, I think he was up at the ISS a few years ago, or a couple of years ago, and he was actually up there for about just over a year, I believe. So he's got a lot of experience in space. And then, of course, you have Luca Parmentano. He's the astronaut from the European Space Agency for this mission. He's got a lot of experience as well. And then, of course, we have Randy Bresnik, who is very much a NASA veteran as well. I think he was on at least one of the space shuttle missions a long time ago. So yeah, basically this crew is very, very experienced. Although, well, apart from Andrew Douglas, I think this is actually his first time going to space. But the other three, yeah, they very much know what they're doing.
Cool, Space Shuttle Commander. Wow, that's pretty special. Okay, so some of these updates here.
So yeah, we had a bit of a apart from the crew announcement earlier, we had some updates on how things are going with obviously the SLS for that mission and what we can expect from the landers for the mission as well. Well, I call them landers, they're not actually going to land, but I'm sure you all know what I mean.
So things you're saying before, things like this um, from Blue Origin is going to be in space. It's going to orbit in low Earth orbit and be able to rendezvous with its
Yeah,
RCS.
yeah. So I believe this is what people have been referring to as the Blue Moon Mark 1.5 lander. It's essentially slightly larger than Mark 1 with a few other additions on it, and it sports a pressurized cabin. That's what you're on. Yeah, that's it. That the top one. Ignore that bottom one. That's nothing to do with the.
Yeah.
And then this Mark 1.5 lander that will be docking. That'll go to space up into low Earth orbit first. Then that'll be followed by Orion being launched into Leo. Those two will dock with each other for about, I think, 2 days. Um, and the crew from the Orion capsule will be going into the Mark 1.5 lander capsule. I believe they'll be testing the Axiom suits as well during that time. Then once Orion is done with Mark 1, the Blue Moon lander, once they've finished there, they'll undock with each other. And then during that time as well, Starship will be launching into Leo, and that will be docking with Orion for about, I think, for a day. And that's the big thing with Starship for this mission. It's not any sort of HLS prototype. It's literally just a bog standard Starship taken off the production line that's going to have a docking adapter attached to it. There won't be any crew going from Orion into this Starship at all. It'll literally just be docking, and that's it. Which, yeah, not really sure still what to make of that. I'd like to have seen more of an actual HLS prototype Starship use for this mission, but there we go.
Cool.
And then that whole mission is going to be, I believe, 21 days. Not fully sure what they're doing for the rest of the time when there's no landers docked to Orion, but yeah. And that was the other big thing announced earlier as well, although there has been some murmurings of it before this event earlier, that NASA is actually looking into Orion docking with Starship, the HLS Starship. I don't know if they've said which orbit yet exactly. I don't know if it's Leo or if it's going to be high Earth orbit, here. And then those two are going to go off to the moon together. So obviously, I'd like to imagine for the missions where they do that, they won't. Actually, I know they will still need the SLS, but yeah, that sort of thing is probably going to be for like Artemis 5 onwards, or maybe Artemis 6 onwards. And of course, they'll only be doing that sort of thing with any of the Artemis missions that are actually using Starship. Yes, those are some of the big things mentioned earlier. Oh, and they are still targeting the Starship ship-to-ship orbital refueling test by the end of this year. Not sure if that's going to happen, but they're still targeting this year.
I hear Sony HLS to dock in Leo for landing missions. Yep. So I might just play a couple of minutes of this video. This is SpaceX's. So this is like an hour video of lots of different companies, but this is actual SpaceX representatives. So we'll just play this just for a few minutes. Are you ready for that, Matt?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Jessica Jensen, and on behalf of SpaceX, I want to first say early congratulations to the astronauts who will get to fly on this awesome mission next year. And thank you for the critical role you're about to play in pushing humanity forward. I also want to say that SpaceX is incredibly honored, as always, to continue to be a part of NASA's most critical missions as we all work together to establish a permanent human presence on the moon. I'm here today to give an update on Starship's development towards Artemis 3 and Artemis 4. We've made substantial progress towards developing Starship and preparing for the NASA HLS missions. We just flew our 12th flight test and successfully debuted version 3, or V3, of the Starship and Super Heavy booster, along with the new Raptor 3 engines and a new launch pad, all of which were developed through years of ground and flight testing. We are currently building several ships and boosters in parallel at Starbase, and we are actively building out 3 more Starship launch pads in Florida and Texas. We believe this, combined with full reusability, is going to lead to unprecedented launch rates and achieving aircraft-like operations, which has always been our goal. The V3 design of Starship is planned to be the vehicle for propellant transfer, our uncrewed missions to the moon, and for the HLS crewed lunar landing. Our HLS design and operations leverage years of proven experience from our NASA crew and cargo missions to the space station, from our high flight rate on Falcon 9, which is currently once every 2.5 days, and from reusability of Falcon fairings and boosters. Additionally, the docking hardware we're using for HLS is nearly identical to what we use currently on Dragon, and many of the rendezvous and proximity sensors that we're going to use for prop transfer and HLS have been flying on Dragon missions for many years. We're also actively building our first flight fidelity Starship HLS cabin at Starbase. The primary structure is assembled and prepared to be outfitted with key functional systems like avionics, power, life support systems, and more to come in the next few months. Later this year, we are targeting our in-space ship-to-ship propellant transfer demonstration. This is a core technology that will enable Starship to land humans and massive amounts of cargo on the moon. Then next year, we'll support Artemis 3 and the planned rendezvous and docking with Orion in low Earth orbit. For that mission, we're going to be using a V3 vehicle off the line with an added docking adapter. We are also marching towards our V3 Starship uncrewed lunar landing. This is another HLS milestone that will further demonstrate propellant aggregation in space and also a safe and autonomous landing on the surface of the moon. Then looking ahead to Artemis 4, we're continuing to develop all the crewed systems and certification necessary for the safe landing and return of astronauts to Orion. We have an updated plan with NASA that includes docking Starship with Orion in Earth orbit instead of NRHO, and then we use Starship to actually do the translunar injection with Orion attached. Then it will send them both to low lunar orbit before the landing. This approach improves crew safety by first conducting the critical docking event in Earth orbit, just like we're going to practice in Artemis 3, and the crew can also abort off the lunar surface nearly any time versus waiting up to days from NRHO. In addition to improving crew safety, these new Artemis 4 orbits also significantly lower the amount of propellant Starship needs to aggregate in space, since we now just have a more direct route to the moon, and this lowers schedule risk overall. We're incredibly excited to help return humans to the moon once again, and this time to stay. Thank you.
Okay, I think that'll do for that video. That all sounds very good, Jake. So that sums up that really well.
Yeah, got some interesting tidbits of information earlier, and yeah.
So do you have anything else to add to Artemis, Jake? Have we covered most of the updates now?
Yeah, that's pretty much everything from the Starship side of things. It's yeah.
Awesome, very good. Oh, that's really cool. That's really good to hear all that. So Artemis 3, that's actually the next flight of Artemis. All that's going to happen with the low Earth orbit stuff. That's really nice. Okay, so the schedule today was to do a bit of HLS, and now we're going to go around the rest of the sites, and we'll do some. Our event dudes has some updates for us on some pipeline stuff. We might, maybe we'll cover that now. Are you there, event dudes?
Yeah.
Cool. So, where was that info? Okay, so there's this info here. You're saying this bit of text here. I have the images as well.
Yeah, this is interesting. We were talking about this last week. We saw the T4 from RRC regarding the star pipe. So we knew the distance was going to be 8.11 miles. We just didn't really know where. So we kind of guesstimated on last week's of where it could go. I thought that it was going to go to their new property because there's a 42-inch line that's going to Mexico there. But apparently they had different ideas, and they decided they were going to go to the under the channel at $1 million and across the channel, and then hook into the same gas pipeline that the LNG plant is using, which is fascinating. So we know the distance and we know the direction, so we can kind of figure out the rest. That it's going to go through their right-of-way easement there, and then it's going to go Highway 4 and then down to the launch site. And that would be the approximate 8.2 miles or whatever it was. This is the interesting slides that they were pushing out. This is talking about the total feet, and this is just to clarify, this is just what SpaceX has to ask from the port about the pipeline as far as the easement. It's not the total length. We know the total length for the T4 that they published, but this is just going to be that portion of it. We also know it was going underneath, and then we also know that they're going to be at the surface site for, I forget the number, it was 2,500 or whatever it was per year to rent that actual site out for an entire year. We also know, based on the T4, that this should start someplace in July 7th. So about a year project, what they're going to do, and should be starting July 7th somewhere. They have a lot to do, so they could start all over the place, to be fair. And this was this was something Alex pulled up. This is the pipelines that are running through there. This is just an actual old USACE document. But that's the pipelines, and that's kind of the approximate area where they'd be hooking into that pipeline there. If you imagine this photo being turned the other way around, that's where that bend was in the previous photo to get to this area. Yep. So it just makes that left-hand turn. Well, I didn't put it on there, but yeah, it goes up and takes a left-hand turn, and that's where it's going to hook into the pipeline.
Up there?
To the left, where you can see the kind of a road area there. Yep.
Cool.
Hey, Vintage, do we have any information on how it will be taken underneath the channel? Is it going to be just a pipe taken underneath there, or is it going to go underground, or how they're going to do it? Anything like that yet?
Well, it has to go under the channel, so however they want to do directional boring, I don't know. It's actually, the other thing about this is it's 16-inch pipe, so it's massive. They're not messing around with this thing. My guess is, and Alex probably talked about this at some point in a live stream or something, but they're probably just doing it so that it's a lot of overhead because they can just do low pressure at that point. They don't have to go with high pressure. It's a lot safer at that point. The other thing I wanted to mention is, because I saw this around, they have 3 spots over at the launch site, and one of them is called CS4 generation. The other 2 are called LNG liquefaction. And unless they're going to do something crazy, which it's SpaceX, so who knows, what they're going to do is take the gas, it's going to come in, it's going to get gas treated, and then it's going to go more likely to get all the ethane, propanes, and butanes out of it, and then it's going to go and get liquefied. I don't know that they would ever attempt to take it liquefied and then try to purify it for a lot of different reasons. Basically, there's nothing to gain from it, and it's a lot of energy to be able to do that. The normal process and what they're shipping in right now is what I just explained about a purification before it's liquefied. So I don't expect them to do anything different here unless they start doing some crazy stuff, but that's the expectation at the launch site.
Cool. And is this video, there's 2 minutes videos of information in there. Should I play that?
Number 12.
You can. That is the
Consideration action on assignments.
Yeah, this is going to be the slide of what they're talking about, and he just to clarify, he does make a couple mistakes, which is kind of funny, and this kind of set off a lot of things. One, he says LNG. I have no idea why. 2, he says 334 feet. He meant 30,334 feet. But the rest of it, he's just the councilman. He's presenting it to the council there on the right, and they're going to take a vote basically on this.
Negotiations, easements, subleases, and contracts in general. 1, which will be Space Exploration Technologies Corps, SpaceX, authority to negotiate easement and right-of-way of agreement. SpaceX is seeking authority to negotiate a 30-foot wide easement and right-of-way agreement for the purpose of constructing, operating, maintaining one 16-inch underground pipeline. The pipeline will extend approximately 3,334 linear feet and will transport LNG to SpaceX site. The easement right-of-way agreement.
So that's the distance, and it's going to be gaseous, natural gas, yeah.
Well, again, that is the distance they're requesting from the port that they have to through the easement. The total distance is 8.11 miles of the full pipeline via the T4 document that we got. But that's the easement section that they have to request through the port that they have to approve.
Will also include temporary workspace of approximately 71.77 acres and a surface site of approximately 1.9 acres. The temporary workspace is anticipated to be utilized for an estimated period of 12 months. SpaceX will work closely with POB engineering staff to finalize the proposed construction plans, including the pipeline alignment, designated site area. Additionally, as proposed easement will be located within areas currently in the process of being leased to prospective tenant. POB has discussed the matter with the prospective tenant and received confirmation of their consent to proceed with
Steph's power just went out. That's what happened. So yeah, I was wondering for a second there. Yeah, so just give her just well, who knows?
I was just about to ask, was that a certified Discord moment? But I guess not.
Certified whatever her local power company is.
Yeah, kind of figures, right?
you want to take a break, Matt, to read out the questions and donations, or?
Yeah. Give me just 1 second here. All right. I was in the middle of making food for the kids, so I'm going to have to like jump back and forth a little bit. All right. Let's see here. We have. Let me.
Okay, can you guys still hear me?
Oh, yeah. We got you.
I can hear
Well,
you. I can't see it yet.
I'm so sorry. I knew this. Sorry, I forgot all about this, Matt. I've had a scheduled power blackout. I have only limited battery power on my laptop right now, so I'm not sure how much of the show I can do. So just let me bring my screen back up quickly. I apologise to everyone over there on YouTube as well. I actually did know this was going to happen, but I totally forgot about it. So my power is going to be out now for like 6 hours. So I'm not sure what we want to do, Matt.
Well, if you can do just a little bit longer, at least, I can swap around and try to take over with pictures and things like that.
Must have a hell of an antenna on that laptop.
So we're just finishing on that video there.
There
So
we
I'm
go.
down to one screen as well. It's just one laptop
Hey,
screen.
Matt.
Yeah,
Matt, why don't
yeah.
you go finish dinner? We'll do this, and then we can get the stream. We can get the donations and questions a little bit later.
Yeah,
That way you
do
can do
your
your thing
thing
to
for
get it
just a
done.
few minutes. I will be back in like 5-6 minutes.
All right, cool. I'll just finish this bit of video. I'm so sorry, everybody. Where are we up to?
Negotiate a 30-foot wide easement and right-of-way agreement for the purpose of constructing, operating, maintaining
play
one
this for a minute.
16-inch underground pipeline. The pipeline will extend approximately 3,334 linear feet and will transport LNG to SpaceX site. The easement right-of-way agreement will also include temporary workspace of approximately 71.77 acres and a surface site of approximately 1.9 acres. The temporary workspace is anticipated to be utilized for an estimated period of 12 months. SpaceX will work closely with POB engineering staff to finalize the proposed construction plan designated site area. Additionally, as proposed easement will be located within areas currently in the process of being leased to prospective tenant. POB has discussed the matter with the prospective tenant and received confirmation of their consent to proceed with the easement for SpaceX across the proposed lease site. Annual easement right-of-way fee of $17,593.72. Channel crossing fee of $1 million. Annual surface size space rate of $28,500. Temporary workspace $366,000. Fee of $30,500 month-to-month basis if the fee is to extend past 12 months. Staff recommends B&D Commissioners approve the authority to negotiate for Space Exploration Technologies Corporation, known as SpaceX.
Motion.
I have a motion by Commissioner Gutierrez
Second.
and a second by Commissioner Villarreal. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
So that's actually the go-ahead, yeah?
Okay. No, that's not how they do it at the port. Although I'm not
Okay,
sure. I
cool.
haven't seen the second one yet. So this is just the ability for them to go ahead and negotiate with the SpaceX to be able to go ahead and start this whole project. But considering the fact that SpaceX already put in a 7/7 start date, either they're going to start on their land or this is going to be approved very quickly.
Cool. And is that about the approximate where it's coming through? Is that about right over there?
I haven't mapped it. I think it's further down than that a little bit in that cloud area. Because if you look at there's a area there, yeah, before you get to the washout, and then you would have that.
Oh, it's a bit further. Okay, yep, it's up over there.
Yeah.
Yep, I see. Yep, cool. I'm going to tap into that massive big pipeline. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, again, both 42-inch pipelines that run through there. One goes to Mexico, one goes to that LNG plant. So shouldn't be a big issue for that. It's still, I don't think they're going to use the full capacity anywhere near the 16-inch. That would be several metric tons or several thousand metric tons per day, which they're not going to really ever need here at Starbase.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Oh wow, it's so different only using one screen. Okay.
Did I hear you right in saying they call it star pipe?
Starpipe. Yeah, we didn't hear that last time. Yeah. I even put this in the post. I was like, SpaceX and their naming schemes. I don't know what the deal is, but yeah, Starpipe. It's the natural gas pipeline to feed Starbase's rockets. Starpipe. I guess it makes sense.
I can't say I'm surprised that they've decided to call it something like that. It's just
Makes me laugh a little bit.
It's a wonder it's not called Pipe X.
True, there's no X in it.
It's
But
pipe.
to be fair, this is their sub company, Lone Star Petroleum or Lone Star or whatever it is.
I think it's
that's
Lone Star
actually doing it.
Mineral or something like that.
Yeah, Mineral LLC. Yeah.
Oh, very awesome. Thanks for that update, event, dude. That's really awesome. And this is the actual path. There's actually an easement way through there already? Is that right?
So that's an old. You can look at the area there. That's an old easement, if you will, of effectively a roadway that was never really used. You can see another one there to the left of that as well, between if we'll call them islands. And this is just from the older, way back 100 years or so, of how they would then go through those areas.
Yeah. Because there's heaps of like land. There's heaps and heaps of blocks of land. There's heaps of future development to be done in here. Then I guess it all got wiped out with that hurricane.
Isn't there a really old rail line out there as well somewhere? Or am I imagining that?
Yeah, there is.
There's an old sign. I thought it was near the launch site. About the railroad. I thought that's what that was. I'd have to look up the historical marker again, but I thought that was the one regarding that.
Okay, so that's the natural gas supply to the launch site. That's really nice.
You can actually see the pilings if you look close where the railroad was as it comes from the launch site. Starts up towards just above your fist up there.
Up in here.
Up in there. Yep.
Yeah. So I was actually trying to see that because I've heard of that before. Actually, yeah, that there's some old piling still in there. What was this question? So they came in late. Which of the two LNG plants has agreed to this? Does that question make sense to you, Event Dates?
Well, it's a pipeline. It's the same pipeline they're using to the LNG plant, but they're not. This is where the misspeak or whatever they did. I'm glad we didn't have this first, because I would have been really confused. But they're not doing LNG. This is a natural gas pipeline, and this is a natural gas pipeline that goes to the LNG plant. So the LNG plant didn't have any to say about it. It's just SpaceX is hooking into the natural gas pipeline that's coming down.
And that'd be to do with the company that owns that natural gas pipeline, yeah?
That's correct.
Yeah. Well, so tap up. So there'd be some kind of infrastructure here. They tap. Obviously, they don't just literally put a T elbow on. They do, though. They must have some control valves and what have you on there as well.
Yeah, and Alex was saying that it sort of made sense to go ahead and if you're just going to put a site there, might as well tap it off three ways for the LNG, and then what Starbase is doing. So that as a juxtaposition to using the Mexico one, which may or may not be even usable and would go through land that they may or may not have. I'm assuming that's going to go through at some point too. But
okay, so this route might be problematic, whereas this route's quite easy.
Yeah, and it's more or less guaranteed. Obviously, if the approval comes from the port, then they're good to go on that.
Cool. Okay. We'll go on.
Who owns the pipeline? It's not any of the individual companies that are sucking off of it, right? It's like there's another company that's distributing that. So
yes, I don't remember the name.
okay, so then I think from that question was if they got permission from the companies thinking that it was their pipeline, but yeah, they don't need permission from them as long as everyone gets their amount that they were allotted in the time frame they're allotted, then they can't say or do anything about it.
Yeah.
Did I see Stumpy in chat? Hope so. Okay, so I might just quickly go through these donations. So just Martin from the UK spent £2 saying goals started. Awesome. Who else we got here? El Hungaro, Jax, US $10. Thanks, guys. Awesome details here. We appreciate it. Yeah, I must say, it takes a team. I'm only sort of the front person here. So, yeah, people like Event Dudes and Jake and all these other people in the background come up with all this awesome information for us. Yazada, good on Yazada. $5. Thanks for these shows. I really get inspired watching them. Oh, thanks. Appreciate that positive feedback. $5 from Space Watcher for whatever I can help with. That's every dollar helps. Thank you very much. I was going to quickly go through some questions. Jake, there might be some HLS questions here. Let's go through a couple here. It's disappointing they won't have at least a prototype HLS for Artemis 3, and I'm surprised that Blue Moon will have a pressurized crew compartment. That's more of a statement, isn't it?
Yeah, it is certainly interesting that Blue seem to be putting the more actual closer to real lander forward for Artemis 3. There has been some speculation that maybe SpaceX is holding off with how much they put into Artemis 3 to make sure they've actually got all the hardware and everything needed in place, ready for Artemis 4 and the uncrewed demo landing on the moon. I do kind of wish SpaceX would just, show us how things are actually going. But yeah, and I guess NASA only really asked for both the lander providers to have, just provide hardware for Orion to dock to during Artemis 3. I think they weren't really asked to have anything super complex put forward for the mission. But yeah, I would have liked to have seen an actual HLS prototype of some kind for Artemis 3, a Starship HLS prototype for Artemis 3, but I guess not the end of the world.
Well, isn't Blue Moon's a miniature design? Is not the full-blown lander. I mean, that's about the equivalent of sending a Dragon up on Falcon 9 and saying this is a Starship.
Yeah, I don't know, it's a weird one. I mean, neither things that the providers are putting forward are the full thing, but I think it would have been nice to for Starship to have actually had a pressurized cabin in it that the Artemis 3 crew could have gone into. But again, it's not the end of the world.
SpaceX should. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I don't know if I missed it or not, but I thought Blue Moon was talking about a production line of Mark 1s or Mark 1.5, whatever it is, which was interesting as a comment. And that's what they were going to use on both this mission and then on the lander. Is that right?
No, I think they're still going to be using the full-blown Mark II land. Although plans can change.
The other thing that's interesting, and I was kind of laughing at this when I heard this driving down the road, that apparently SpaceX came out and again today said that the current plan that we presented was we're going to meet in Leo, we're going to dock with Orion, and we're going to push Orion into LLO, and then we're going to do the mission and come back to meet it and LLO. And all of the calculation, everything else that I've seen people do, EDA included, were all about a NRHO and all of the other different orbits and different mini versions of starships and everything else. And you can basically just scrap all of that. We're just going to a straight up LLO launch, pushing a, I don't know, what is it, 27 metric ton Orion capsule.
Yeah. And for anyone wondering what LLO and NRHO stand for. It's low lunar orbit and near rectilinear halo orbit. The second orbit being what they were planning to put the gateway station into.
And that second one is easy to maintain because it's hard to maintain an LLO, isn't it? Because of the moon's weird gravitational forces.
I think the idea was it requires more delta V to maintain an LLO. But we have, I think, the lunar reconnaissance and a lot of even the India reconnaissance are in a LLO version of that. So it's not that you can't do it. I think it's just a delta V requirement.
Okay, cool. SpaceX should take that ship and carry on with refueling tests, in my opinion. SpaceX are farther behind on HLS if they have to offer. A3 is docking up, says all four. Not sure what that exactly means.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I don't think we fully know whether it's for Artemis 3, whether it's a case of SpaceX can have hardware, but they'd rather save it for a future mission, like the uncrewed demo landing or the Artemis 4, or if they're generally just not going to have any hardware ready for the more advanced hardware ready for Artemis 3. It's not really sure.
Yeah, it's interesting that she stated that they were just going to do an off-the-line Starship, which is what I kind of thought they did. I thought they would have done some sort of pressurized thing, but the worst case was, we'll just pull one off the line, we'll send it to Leo like we do all these other ones, and we'll just throw a docking adapter. But she then mentioned where we have the effectively the nose cone, and we're building it out, which was interesting. So I guess that's for the demo mission for landing.
They refer to that cabin as in multiple things. And I think they referred to it as flight hardware, flight something. I can't remember the first one. Flight capable and flight fidelity. The flight capable, referring to it as flight capable, was an interesting one. When they talked about it earlier today and on that HLS update on the website, they were describing it as it being some sort of training cabin, but if it's flight capable, it does make you wonder why aren't they actually using it for one of these missions?
Well,
yeah,
I think the idea was they got kind of blindsided. Their whole entire plan was to do one demo, which was landing, and then one HLS for reals. And this whole idea of Artemis 3 being now a dockable thing, they're like, well, we're not going to really make another one just for that. We're just going to slap a docking ring on there and call it good, I guess is their idea. And they also probably in like a time crunch / all kinds of other things crunch. So
yeah, I did think about that as well. I think that is maybe what's happened here is this extra mission is, they just weren't fully prepared for it, and probably why they're putting forward just the standard Starship with the docking adapter on it.
I imagine it has to be on the top of the nose cone. You'd have to push Orion from the very top of Starship, wouldn't you? You wouldn't be able to hang it off the side of Starship because of the...
We don't know that for Artemis 3. I'm not sure if they actually ever did confirm where on this Starship they would be putting this docking adapter. I think it could be put on the side of it. I think it could work. We'll know. I think we'll have a much better idea soon when they go to roll out a nose cone or a payload bay barrel out to Marcy's with a docking adapter, like simulator of some kind attached to it for structural testing.
yeah, we haven't even seen the structural test for the prop, whatever you want to call this thing, for the tanker / depot, whatever demo, the extra rectangle. We haven't even seen that as a coupon, if you will, in a quad barrel yet that's in the scrapyard. So we're still waiting on, I guess, would think of that. And then we need to see an actual test article for structural testing and then functionality.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what hardware we see over the next 12 months coming out of Starbase.
I do wonder if they snuck something to McGregor and that's what they're doing in the tent, but I can't imagine for structural testing, everything else they're going to do for docking. I can't imagine how they would not do that at Massey's. So.
Well, the only thing we see at Massey's is that on side of, what is it, 39.1, that the plate for the SQD plate with a ram on it, but that doesn't seem to be related to docking, does it? And fuel transfer.
No, that's nothing to do with that. Because don't forget, they did that same sort of testing on one of the QD panels on B18.1, which was obviously a booster test article.
Can see I'm missing my multiple screens here.
Yeah, they did the same test. I think they did the same testing on, was it Test Tank 16? I can't remember the actual name of it. That was another ship aft test article, the V2 ship test article. So yeah, I don't think that's anything to do with orbital refilling testing.
Yeah, they do have the docking ports, if you will, the 4 of them, that I would expect some sort of structural test, but we're still missing that rectangle that's supposed to be below those ports for what I would expect to be fueling.
Down in here, well, it's almost looks like there's the start of something here, but yeah, down in here we think there's going to be more ports.
Yeah, based on the
Yeah.
renders, everything else we've seen, there's got to be something there. And then I think it's not necessarily confirmed, but I think the idea that's been presented around is it's just offset. So that little rectangle will then move up to the 2 ports you see on the picture, and they'll just be offset when it docks. So one will be slightly higher than the other, effectively.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's correct. Because of the, you need the gender for the plumbing and what have you, and the plumbing inside. Cool. The next lot of questions go back into the natural gas stuff. So, you're happy with the SLS stuff now, Jake and Invent Dudes?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, we obviously need to see a lot more than what we've seen now, and I'm still questioning what Blue's plan. I mean, obviously, we'll see at the end of the year of where they're at as their launch site and where they're building out and everything else. So there's a lot of work to be done there.
I'm sorry, I've messed up the sort of order of the show here. So there's probably some more. Sorry, some more questions here. Sorry, to do with Artemis. Hang on, I'll go back to the natural gas in a second. How does Blue Origin propose to launch their Artemis 3 Blue Moon when their New Glenn pad isn't available?
Well, during that event, the conference, well, whatever you want to call it, the conference, they did reiterate that they fully expect to have New Glenn launching again by the time of Artemis 3 next year. But I think failing that, I think they're already looking into trying to use Falcon Heavy. I think for at least the first Blue Moon Mark 1 lander. Not sure if they'll be able to use it for that slightly larger Mark 1.5 lander. I don't know if that's going to be possible or not. Would of course require a new fairing to be able to accommodate these landers, but yeah, Blue Origin and NASA seem to be confident that New Glenn will be launching in time for Artemis 3 next year.
Stephen Lewis calls the gravity on Moon lumpy gravity, which Andy says better than lumpy gravy. Yeah, I've heard it. Yeah, it's kind of lumpy. Yeah. Just Martin, good show. Another £5 donation. Thank you. So, a question. Yeah, they're still going to have not an ASU, but a liquefaction plant at the back of the launch site. Stumpy's question here. 1 second. Basically says, why would they purify the LNG at the launch site and not at the port first? I think about doing this because it's a lot easier to bring gas over, isn't it? All that distance and actual liquid natural gas that whole distance.
So I guess the question really is, why don't they just make this an LNG pipeline that goes all the way? But I think you're going to run into a lot more problems, and this isn't going to be a year thing. This is now going to be a multi-year, like 5-year thing, and that's even if LNG Rio Grande wants to even sell you the LNG through your pipeline in the first place. So we have those complications, and they've already been dabbling in this whole concept of wanting to take gas and then make it into a power plant, and then wanting to take gas and then wanting to make it into their own methane. So I think they've been kind of on this whole position. I think if you look at the logistics and the reasonableness of putting it at the launch site, it makes absolutely no sense because you're launching rockets over it, which is another contentional point about launching rockets over an active LNG plant or a purification plant. So there is that contention. But at the end of the day, it's right now easier for them to transfer gas. It's faster, and they can just build out the LNG liquefaction at the launch site instead.
Yep, and to add to that question from Stumpy, all the non-desirable gases will need to be trucked out from the launch site, or maybe they can be flare stacked. I'm not sure about that, but isn't LNG's like 80 odd something percent? Isn't it above 80% pure methane?
Oh, they're looking for like 96%. They don't
96%.
Yeah, they don't want to leave that much on the table. 92 to 98, depending on the day, but they want to get as high as possible without running in too much efficiencies. And again, the whole point I was making before about taking it from a liquid state, if you try to take LNG in its liquid state and purify it to 99% or something like that, there's so much time and energy expended in that, and there's very little gain. Whereas if you just do the normal processes, you get to the 92 to 98 percentile, which they're trucking in currently anyways. So that just, it makes a lot more sense to do it that way around rather than trying to take a liquid and then purify a liquid. And as far as the butane, propane, ethane, or whatever else is going to be a byproduct, it'd be kind of neat to see a flare stack. That'd be nice. We bring back the flare stack, but I don't know. They have different methods to get rid of it that don't need to involve trucking it off.
Can those other gases be burnt in a gas generator?
Well, it'd be
Yes.
interesting to supply its own power. Well, maybe. If we don't see another power line pretty soon, they're going to have to come up with something as a gas generator.
Well, for the ASU as well, apparently.
Yeah, you can probably get away with running the ASU at half power currently at 12.1 megawatts plus the heaters and all of the other compressors and cooling towers and everything else are going to have to run, so maybe 15, 16 megawatts while not using the launch site. But as soon as you try to launch anything, or even just doing a tanking test, you're going to have to run the cryo pumps, and there's no way there's enough capacity left in the lines.
Yeah. Back to SLS just quickly. Is it possible that the nose cone with a hole is the one meant to have a hatch to dock with Orion? I think maybe they're talking about that one that we see in the factory sometimes, with that steel hanging off the side of it.
No, I wouldn't have thought so. I think the test hardware are not in quite the right places for. I don't know why you'd be needing to exert sideways forces on the tip of the nose cone for any docking adapter of any kind. I think that's just something else. Although there is a barrel that is stacked on top of that may have something for docking adapter testing. We don't know until that thing actually comes right out into the open to see what else is going on with it.
Cool. Flare stacks near Pad B, GC and Gantry. Give us some Blade Runner vibes from all four. Follow a quick question on Booster 20. Hey, RGV from Nathel. Nate the Great. G'day, Nate the Great. Hey, RGV. I was curious on what improvement SpaceX will or already have done for Booster 20. Could it be a temporary fix like software or something else? Love the work you do. Well, thanks for the positive support there. Booster 20. Yeah, well, it's an interesting question. Without knowing what actually happened to Booster 19, I'm not sure whether it's to do with the booster or the engine, Jake. It's sort of hard to tell, isn't it?
Sorry, what was the question again? Sorry, Seth.
What improvements SpaceX will or already have done to Booster 20? Could it be a temporary fix like software or something else?
Oh, I don't think we really know fully, without knowing exactly what happened inside of that booster and having all the data that SpaceX has. We don't know if it's. Well, externally, it doesn't look like any hardware changes have been made yet. But internally, there could be many changes inside of there. Although I do think there could be, I think there could be a few software changes as well made ahead in the next flight. I should imagine SpaceX will probably go into detail about what actually happened and what changes they made ahead of Flight 13.
Yeah, we did see in the slow-mo, if you frame by frame it on that flight, that one of the RVACs was slightly slower than the other two and already had a sea level engaged before that third RVAC. So it's a very distinct possibility that that was the causation that then culminated into a multitude of different factors because they're already trying to push the booster into some crazy, I don't know how many G backwards flip turn for igniting 33 engines back to the launch site. So it could be just a culmination of all of those events. Plus, they already had that engine out, which, again, if this is a blockage or a filtration or a bubble issue or something with the prop that's mixing around. And the other theory was something to the effect of they have a new landing tank that could also have interfered or otherwisely made a gas bubble or something ingestion wise into the engines, exploding them and then causing the issue. So, as Jake was saying, not any physical things that we saw that much differential on this booster that was rolling out. So, assuming software for now, but then a lot of times what they'll do is they go after the crowd test, they'll make some modification. We'll see some new weld lines or rust lines or whatever on the tank, and that would probably give us like a indication of maybe something is done.
And yeah, for the it's a total guess for me, but I wouldn't be surprised for Flight 13 that they still try and go with the 33 engine boost back, but I think they might change up the startup of all the engines. So I do wonder if it was maybe just a bit too aggressive trying to start them up all at the same time.
Yeah, and they even had apparently startup. I don't know if it was ever engines. I think it was just actually the Deluge farm and the other sensors they had, but they were definitely having static fire issues even on the pad. So it wasn't necessarily as clean as they wanted to, firing up the 33 engines. So I could see them doing a slightly different staggered startup or maybe slightly less instantaneous 33 startup.
Yeah, Flight 20 is going to be very interesting. If Flight 20 goes ahead, oh, sorry, Flight 13, sorry, Booster 20 goes
Flight
ahead
20, let's
nicely. Yeah, Flight 20 later this year. Not.
Yeah,
And we're going.
that was crazy that they were still on schedule for the what has to be almost a dual launch or very close to being a dual launch to get their prop demo fuel transfer in orbit. So that seems like that's a 39A having to be online thing.
Well, that's if I don't know if I don't know if the plans are still the same, but they were planning to do, I think, was it 3 weeks between the launches of the ships for that, because they were going to use the first ship for a long duration test. They could go from the same pad if if 3 weeks apart is maybe possible. Although, yeah, now with 39A very close to coming online, I guess they could use 2 different launch sites now.
Yeah, I was expecting a lot sooner. They were talking a big game about 48 hours in orbit, so I was figuring they'd have to do that. But I guess, like to your point, if they don't really even need that one to do anything other than to receive, it doesn't need to, actually try to sit out there and be functional in any normalized way with ullage gas or something, then yeah, I could see that being just fine.
Oh boy, my laptop's chewing the power. It's all good. So the what was this question? The docking test Starship, will it be pressurized, the payload bay? I'm not sure. You said crew aren't going to transfer over to the Starship, didn't you, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, every Starship payload bay is slightly pressurized now, but it's not going to be an actual habitable cabin that this crew can go into. It's literally going to be the Orion capsule dock into the Starship, and that's it. Then there's not going to be any crew going from the Orion capsule into the ship.
Actually,
They may.
did they have did they talk about the suits that they're going to use?
Yeah, they plan. I think they said they plan to use them on the ISS sometime next year, and I think they are planning to use them in the Blue Moon lander as well for Artemis 3.
They might be able to test. I was thinking if they had like a EVA or survivable suit, they may be able to go into the payload bay, but otherwise, yeah, absolutely not.
Cool. The question seems to be jumping backwards and forwards between SLS and flight 12 a little bit here. Why need all 33 for boost back? That's new, isn't it? Yeah, that is very new. Something they're trying to get the boost back. Man, that's going to be so many G-forces. Like if on what was it, 10 engines, 13 engines boost back was something like 12 or 20 Gs or something ridiculous. Imagine 33 engines, the G-forces involved. My goodness.
Yeah, and yeah, for anyone wondering, I think I don't know if SpaceX ever confirmed it or not, but I think that's that's them trying to cancel out the horizontal velocity with the V3 vehicles. So I don't think they're going to give up on the 33 engine boost back, and I think they will manage to nail it eventually, maybe by the next flight.
Yeah, and just to clarify, the reasoning for it, in theory, if you will, is the faster you can get back, the less prop you technically have to use. Therefore, the more that you can throw on the second stage to get into orbit, and it's a lesser distance, if you will, because you can go back faster. You're stopping your momentum going out east sooner, so therefore you haven't traveled as far, is the whole concept. Now, why they need to do it instantaneously in 33 engines and that fast, I guess just to min-max it, but I mean, again, we could just slow it down a bit and it should probably just fine.
And Jake, asking, the ship will need to, is that awful? The ship will need solar or added batteries for extended orbits beyond 48 hours, yeah?
Yeah, they all need all that sort of hardware. I don't know where SpaceX is up to with that. I mean, if they think they're going to be able to do that prop transfer test this year, I'm assuming they're working on that sort of hardware inside the Star Factory now and other places. But yeah, time will tell if they can actually be able to produce any ships that can go for longer than 48 hours by the end of this year.
Okay, Matt, are you back?
I am.
How are you going with your downloads?
I just finished.
All right, I've got about another 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes of battery left. So, and my phone's Discord's not working, so I'm actually going to leave the show, everybody, in 10 minutes, and I'm going to ask Matt to fully take over the whole show, please, and go on with the other sites. They're your favourite sites anyway, Matt, so I feel very confident you're going to enjoy showing the surrounding sites around Starbase, and hopefully one of the other people in the Discord can keep an eye on chat for you for any questions and donations. I have been through the donations already, and most of the questions. Although Converted Hydrogen just dropped 5 RGV aerial photography gift memberships, so thank you for that. And so we're up to date with all the. I'm sorry, Flowjake. Yeah, I can't do anything about it. I knew this power outage was going to happen, but I just totally forgot about it. So they're just upgrading the lines or whatever in the area. So it is what it is, and I'll be back for show and tell on that later in the week. So I'll hand it over to Matt now, I guess, and bid you all good day.
See you, Steph.
All right,
Thank
appreciate that, Steph. All
Cheers,
right,
Steph.
give me just a minute to
Yeah.
get all the pictures up and everything.
I can maybe start on 1 or 2. I've still got like a few minutes of battery left. And I'll leave it for you. I'll let you go through in your own order, in your own time, Matt. Yeah, I'll leave it up to. I'll just leave it totally up to you.
It's the
I'm,
power, but how are you talking to us?
I'm on battery power on the laptop right now. Oh, thanks everyone. I really appreciate everyone's goodbye and support in the chat. That's awesome. Really appreciate. You don't know how much it means to me when chat addresses me like this. I really appreciate the positive feedback. I struggle with that a little bit, so yeah, it means a great deal that you actually do that for me. Thank you very much. And now I can see Matt's taking over the screen.
Starting to. I'm just getting everything set up.
Cool. Yeah, it's a good show. I'm really enjoying these this weekly show. It's a really nice, laid back sort of show without a real strict sort of direction, and we can. But I feel too we can address chat a lot better in the show too. That's so quite often I'm actually looking at chat and taking direction from chat. So keep up the questions for Matt, and yeah, hopefully somebody in Discord will load up YouTube and keep an eye on questions for you, because I won't be able to in a few minutes.
I'm working on it, but I'm not there yet. So I'll be there as soon as I can.
I appreciate
Oh,
you, Todd.
Thank you, Todd.
Hey everyone, I'm also here just in case you all need me. So I already got a.
Yeah,
Okay,
sounds
if you all
great.
need me, I'll be here.
Oh, that was interesting.
So no hot battery swap. Sorry. It's just see me quickly unplugging monitors and unplugging the internet network cable and to get back onto get my mobile hotspot on my phone going, and managed to get back online. I thought I did pretty well for that. What you got for us, Matt? Says Fly Jake. We've got a black screen just for me.
Okay. Yeah, just takes 1 second. There's a lot of buttons and settings and whatnot to swap over. So sorry for the dark screen, guys. Give me just a minute. Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah, killing it now.
Hey, I see me. A lot of me.
Aye. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
If Massey's testing is
I was going to say you might want to watch. There's a chance in me put another new TFR in over Massey's in place for the later part of the month for the Ship 40 Starfire testing, depending on how soon or not they get that ready.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. The other thing is we might actually start utilizing the other aircraft, the 150. We haven't used that one in a while. It's a little bit more affordable, and versus the 172. they started to add a surcharge on the fuel at the airports. I mean, I'm not, it is what it is. It's especially around this time, with the fuel prices and all that. So I think maybe not on this one, but maybe on the next one, we'll switch over to the 150. We've been using the 172 ever since those 10,000 TFRs, but we don't need that anymore, so we can cut back on that just a little bit.
All right.
Cool.
Sorry about that, guys. Got it fixed and figured out finally.
All right, then I'll say my final goodbye. See you, everybody. Thanks, Matt. I appreciate you taking over. Thank you.
Thank you, Steph. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Steph.
Hey, Stephanie.
All right, so looks like we're starting over at the airport lot. Not sure that we really saw anything special here. I know we saw them moving some stuff in and around, but no real epic changes that I saw personally. Did anybody else see anything?
I'm just shocked this is still as organized as it is.
It's a organized mess, right?
Like, yeah, they've done well to keep it as organized as this for this long.
Yeah, and we know that they're redoing a lot of the stuff on the inside. So we've been seeing a lot of, let's see right here. So a lot of this stuff down here, like this piece specifically right here was being moved on a forklift last time. We saw them kind of right in here. So they're moving things around. Same with a lot of this stuff. This stuff kind of showed up within the last couple of weeks as well. And everything's just been kind of shuffled around in here. And then we see a lot of pallet racking and stuff here, but it seems to just be, it's just being stored pretty much right here. So I don't know if they're like shuffling things around slowly inside, like maybe they just don't have a lot of room and they're just doing one little small part at a time or not. But yeah, we've seen a lot of this stuff here for, I mean, at least a month, maybe two now. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see when it finally starts going into the warehouse.
I suppose this site is getting the same sort of treatment that they were doing at the inventory den in Sanchez, where they were starting to get things, a heck of a lot more organized. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is interesting. It's that's a cryo or a cryo. That's a flex tube box that they're pushing into the factory, or warehouse, whatever that is. Next to it, I was kind of curious of what that was. I was trying to look at a different angle, but there's a giant cylinder object on the ground. Right, no, right above.
Yeah, you'll have to go a different angle, Matt. It's basically right up against that orange racking to the left of the
Up
forklift.
Oh, down here. Are we talking about?
No. Go to the right. Look at the spools on top of the racking.
Mm-hmm.
Then go slightly to the right of those spools on the ground. You're at the right.
Oh, I'm pulling a staff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
that's
thing.
it.
Okay, let's see if we got a better.
Oh, yeah, I know those.
Interesting.
I can't remember what they're called. They have those in the Pad 2 Deluge farm, and there's some in front of the LOX tanks at the launch site tank farm as well. They're like sort of vent stack type things. But yeah, I can't remember the actual name of them.
Very cool. Yeah, I didn't notice that earlier. Good catch. Is that one of those red pumps that we see all over the place?
That's a
Seems to be
big old
anti-hammer.
valve.
Yeah.
With anti-hammer or something like that.
And does anybody know what these were originally for?
To move around a lot.
Yeah, those are the what's
Ready to.
the actual? That's it. Yeah, I'm not sure why they brought a lot of this in and they just never used it. I don't know. I guess maybe they just preferred using just normal conduit runs.
Get rid of it.
Yeah, we had lots of suspicions. Oh, they're redoing the front. They're going to put them there. They're redoing the entrance into the Star Factory area now. They're going to do it there, and they just didn't use them. They've only used them in a couple of places. So, yeah, I don't know, but they just get moved around a lot. They're a forklift driving practice.
And this looks like maybe one of those lifts.
Don't know.
Kind of like what they used to pull the Raptors off in Mega Bay 1.
No, totally
No.
different to
I
that.
just mean like that. That's what
Oh,
it
okay. Okay.
looks like, one that like mounts on a truck or something like that. It looks
Yeah,
it's
they
a
used a
bit
little bit at
old.
the entrance of Sanchez. I remember that. Stephanie just put that in chat. Fly Jakes is asking, what is this stuff? Just general items for Sanchez? They go back and forth. Sometimes it's like a storage, I guess, in some pre-prep area. Then they'll go to either the launch site, Sanchez, any of the sites, and then sometimes they bring stuff back and it sits here. You know, the sign sat here for a while before it was taken back out and destroyed. It's just kind of I want to say storage or, yeah, it's I don't know what the official title for this place would be for what they do.
It's almost like
speaking of
storage
the
and overflow.
speaking of that sign, it does actually look to be they did have started putting scaffolding up in front of that wall. So I wonder if they're maybe gonna paint the sign on now, because surely they can't knock paint off.
Where at?
Are you sure about that?
Well, yeah, yeah. We haven't got.
Oh, at the launch site.
Yeah, it was only earlier today
The
they actually
Gateway
started
wall.
doing it. Yeah, so I think they might be looking to actually paint the sign on this time
As
for
they should have
slightly
before.
obvious reasons.
That's what I was saying. They should have painted it and then just put some ground-mounted lights. Done. What's the worst that could happen? You go to Walmart and buy some more ground lights?
You watch us, they buy paint that doesn't stay on.
Yeah, right. Glow-in-the-dark paint. Do it.
Oh, that'd be pretty cool to see.
Which is kind of funny. I actually have a license plate cover that's SpaceX, and the words SpaceX is actually glow in the dark.
Nice.
Yeah, so otherwise, just basically all the same stuff that we've seen before.
I did notice there's that big the second curved structure thing in the middle of the site that's covered in the white wrap that we've been wandering around for about many months. The wrap does look to starting to be ripping off it, so we may get lucky soon and see that thing fully unwrapped.
Whatever it is, right?
And finally get the answer to what's actually under that wrap.
Almost looks like a QD, like a ship QD a little bit. I mean,
Yeah,
we know it's not, but you know.
Yeah, I remember when we first came across these, and we were all the different theories that are coming out about it, and we still have no idea what's actually under the wraps.
Yeah.
Would it make a difference if I took these photos at 800 millimeters? Because most of the time when I go over that site, I just think, we don't spend too much time at this site. Like, to be honest, what do y'all spend on this site? Show and tells like maybe like 10 minutes and then 5 minutes at the most.
Yeah,
so
we don't usually spend very much time here because really there's not a whole lot of change that happens that we notice anyway.
Yeah, unless you see something very specific, I mean, we're already close enough. We're well closer than any of the other shots, even at 800 millimeters, so.
Yeah, it's basically a parts warehouse. They go in there for nuts and bolts, things like that.
yeah, these images are taken immediately after takeoff. So we're talking about maybe about 1,000 feet at the most.
See, I
So
don't understand. If you're not gonna keep these things, why not chuck them, recycle them, something. I mean, look at this one's damaged beyond.
Hey Matt, they have old Pad 1 OLM arms here. I don't know where the heck they're ever going to use those.
That's what I mean. Like, it's just so weird. I'd be throwing half this stuff away. Recycle or sell it off or something. eBay, here we come.
Can you imagine somebody saying, "Can you build the Mark II again?" And you're going, "Oh, of course I can. I've got one outside. I can copy."
Yeah, it's very, very odd, some of the stuff they have sitting around here. Well,
I just love
there
to see
must be
what
a
they.
rhyme or a reason.
I'd love to see what they've got hidden inside of that warehouse.
They have it open every once in a while. So this past flyover, they had the gate right open. It's like a garage door. So they had it right open. I was thinking about pulling over and taking some photos, but there was like people standing around, and it was probably not that. I'll probably get some next time.
Was it
If guys
here
aren't
or
using
somewhere
me,
else? Was it here or somewhere else that you had the landing legs for the SN starships?
That was where I bought my oxygen, which is at one of the hangars in that airport. I
Okay,
guess
so
they
a different
didn't.
hangar. Okay.
Yeah, it was at one of the hangars. I don't have a photo of the hangar, but yeah, it was somewhere around there.
No, I was just curious if it was this one or not.
You do.
very interesting. Yeah, I'd like to see it cleaned up a little bit more, but I guess it's just taking a bit of time. We don't know how many employees or anything it is, so there could be just 2 guys running around in there for all we know.
James 8223 says, "Waiting for a better price on scrap," and I almost said that.
Yeah. All right.
Believe it or not, you can actually go to a scrapyard back in the days when they were scrapping like the Mark One, not the Mark One, some of the other starships. You could just go to the scrapyard and buy a piece of starship. I have a piece of stainless steel in my garage. Thought that was pretty cool,
Nice.
but
Heck
I
yeah.
haven't done anything with.
Yeah, and Mauricio was nice enough to send me out some heat shield tile pieces too. Very cool and much appreciated.
You haven't tested for asbestos.
So we're at Brown Lot here. These are all the Gigabay cladding pieces and the outside of the cladding in here.
Did we ever figure out if they were starting the cladding work again? I know they would start putting the white cladding on the bottom, but I mean the cladding higher up on the bay. Did they ever figure out if they ever started assembling that in Sanchez again? Or was
I
that
know,
still on a
I know it
pause?
looked like they were starting to put some more pieces together, but they didn't have any like stacked on those vertical racks.
I guess I would be expecting a crane to at least somewhat appear, maybe parts of it before they would do something like that.
Yeah, because I think that's what we're really waiting on, right? The crane to be able to get all the way up there where they're at.
Yeah, I'm not sure what their plan was, or whatever else, but clearly it's gone weird.
Boy, that OBS is taking a beating.
The box fan's still there though.
Yeah. A lot of this stuff's been sitting here for weeks, if not months now. All these vaporizers, like all this stuff across the front has been here ever since, at least since they started that expansion.
Why do they have 2 press trailers here right next to those vaporizers? What the heck are they doing at this site? Because that's what they use to used to pressurize the vehicles when they were being transported, the Starship vehicles. Although I guess they don't do that anymore, do they?
Yeah, I was gonna say it seems like a lot of this stuff is like stuff they're not using, leftovers.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's probably putting stuff here that they're not using anymore.
Oh, that's the motor for the fan. Oh, wait, maybe it's not. That looks like the motor for the fan. Huh.
Now then, is this actually a box fan?
Real box fan.
Yeah, real box fan.
Yeah.
And speaking of boxes, I would love to know what's in these.
Stuff and things.
Yeah, been staring at it every week going, come on, open one already. Christmas is over. So just a lot more miscellaneous in here. Nothing too special in this area. Getting to those white pieces.
It's kind of funny. I was gonna say this the other day, but even Fred calls it the brown lot because from the air, it stands out like that's the only brown spot out there.
Yeah,
That's funny.
that's a lot of conduit right there. And a couple tanks. I'm wondering if maybe they're going to bring all those other tanks from the port over here and hang them out in this open parking area.
We haven't really seen that sort of style of tank in Starbase before, have we?
That's not that I'm aware of.
They were sitting, at the port a week ago? Is that what it was? Or this style was?
Yeah, these, they are still at the port, and these are just two different ones, so maybe these ones already got transported. Because I do know that when we got pictures of the port, there was like one or two on a truck already. So it's possible that these were brought in just before those. Anybody need a good deal on some cheap land? All
That's a
right.
question I've just seen in chat. Do you reckon the cladding crew were probably ahead of schedule, or is it just the crane turning up behind schedule?
Could be either one, right? I mean, I think that the ouchie kind of messed things up and might have delayed the crane or vice versa.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's
You know, they
certainly
might have just
possible.
canceled it until further notice kind of thing because they weren't sure how
Yeah.
long the investigation would take, and then they probably tried to reschedule it, and then somebody was like, well, we can't get it there until a certain day now.
Well, to clarify, the cladding and the crane left before the incident.
Oh, okay. So these we've seen being painted over the last few weeks, and we are pretty sure that these are all the connector pieces in between the factory and the Gigabay. And looks like we're also doing a lot of pipe work, likely also for Gigabay and connecting the two.
Yeah, it's weird. I wonder if they got kicked out or what? Oh, wait. What? Oh, that's a lot of pipe.
Yeah, a lot of pipe. There's a bunch down here, and then, yeah, a whole lot over here.
But it's massive. It's, I don't know what that is, like a foot, 8-inch, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at him, that's easily 12-inch probably.
I was gonna say 10 to 12.
Yeah. And do we think that might be for things like methane, argon, etc.?
No. Oh no. That's a massive pipe. There's no. I don't. That's why I'm
I
kind
think
of wondering. Like,
So then maybe possibly a type of conduit?
I think I might be misremembering, but I think Alex suggested a little while ago that there's possibly something to do with like a fire X for inside a Gigabay, maybe.
That was going to be my next suggestion.
Yeah, there's ports there. I don't know if those are connectors, but you can see a bunch of those port connectors. Yeah, with the T pipe, and I mean, it's got to be something like that. Yeah, it's way too massive for any normal gas or anything else you'd be putting through that. It's not a thing, and it doesn't look like conduit, and it's definitely not going to be cryogenic. I don't think so. Water or something.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
water for fire suppression.
Although I don't know, I always thought you
That's
surely
way
expect
too
to
big
see.
for fire suppression.
I was gonna say there's no like load of ports on each pipe either, where they could have outlets for water. So yeah, I don't know.
Well, but if each one kind of spans and like maybe they put one outlet in front of each bay or over top of each bay, who knows?
Yeah, when it comes to the Fire X, they've got a lot of outlets on them from what I've seen.
Right.
So I've looked at the systems they got inside of the VAB, and there's a lot of nozzles on the fire suppression pipes inside of there.
Yeah, the heads only cover about 200 square feet a head.
Well, could they also be getting this ready for maybe some deluge type stuff or repiping the tank farm since it's being all kind of disassembled and discombobulated all over the place?
That's another thing this could be, although this is a bit early, I think, and I'm not sure they do it at this site, but is this maybe pipe work for the next OLM?
Right, and it might have to do also with maybe that trench that we saw being dug. The one that was going from that Locks Pond, or the water pond, I'm sorry.
That I wouldn't have thought so.
I mean, I don't think. I'm just trying to chuck out as many thoughts and ideas as I can.
I think, yeah, to me, at the moment, this is looking more likely OLM pipe work, but it makes sense for it to be getting assembled at this site, or not really?
What size of pipe would you have coming from the ASU unit over to the tank farm?
Big by huge.
Well, but these are not vacuum jacketed that I saw.
Yeah, I was gonna say that would be vacuum jacketed more than likely.
I had an idea about that stage they built, you know.
We'll get there. All right. So yeah, more of the cladding area. A whole bunch more over here. And these seem way bigger. So maybe ASU over? Possibly. Doubtful.
Who knows? Honestly, who
Right.
knows? There could be so many different places that could be used.
For
It
sure.
just seems like normal piping without insulation. It's not vacuum jacketed, so it's kind of just a steel pipe that you just use for, I don't know, water or sewage or whatever, storm water or something like that. Unless they're going to be running some sort of LNG stuff through that, but that's not LNG pipe or natural gas pipe either. So
Yeah.
Well, the black ones you were just showing, Matt, with the bigger size one, those look insulated, but I don't think they're vacuum jacketed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're
Well,
gonna
only
they're
about half of the pipe in the tank farm is vacuum jacketed. The other half is just regular pipe, right?
Yeah, somewhere in that area. I'm not sure exact numbers, but yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of pipe that goes from in rounds to the pumps and everything else. But I guess there's a lot of weird ports that are on that pipe that I guess don't really make any sense to put on there currently, but maybe.
So this is at that lot right across the street from the brown lot. More
WW
Gigabay
lot?
pieces. Which one?
The WW Steel lot.
Yeah.
It's not, as far as I know, it's not owned by SpaceX. I think WW Steel rented this or something, or the paperwork has just gotten lost or something.
Mm. So we're seeing those rails that the bridge cranes ride on top of. They have been adding a bunch of these, welding on these little tabs and mounts over here. We can see them just up there a little bit.
Yeah, I noticed those when
Right over
looking at
here.
when looking at Gigabay, you can see them the bracing for them attached to the Gigabay steel.
Mm-hmm. And that makes sense for all these little pieces that I'd been wondering about for so long. That was all stuffed up in the corner here. I've started to use them, and we can see there are a ton left. So all kinds of just connector pieces and corner cladding and stuff, or corner bracing.
Yeah, we're still yet to see the actual bridge crane rails, aren't we? The ones that go on top of the supports.
Yeah, I haven't seen them yet, but that could happen during the day when I'm at work. But I don't believe we've seen anything yet.
Yep. They're so far along, yet so far to go. There's a good overhead shot of the whole site. As we can see, there is a lot more steel left to go in over there. That's for sure. There's an overview of the brown lot. So this is where we saw all the concrete pieces for the ASU being stored. We can see the other side of those tanks just barely. So it's possible that the rest of them might come over here momentarily.
Well, they're running out of room at the port, so they're going to have to move something to something.
Yeah, for sure. This was another thing I thought was a little interesting. I saw this big old reservoir going in here. Not sure what it's going to be. Possibly either a waste treatment or water treatment plant for the area. Do you have any clue, event dudes?
I'm just now seeing that. Zoom out just a little bit. Zoom out.
Yeah, so this is the main road, I think.
I'd have to go look, but I think SpaceX actually owns that. So I'd have to double check because that property is not set back the way it looks like it is. But if I was just glancing at it, I would be saying, yeah, it's just it's a water tank for treatment or other things, storm water or something like that. But
yeah, we're seeing a little foundation going in here, couple big holes cut out or dug out here. So yeah, that'll be interesting.
I wonder what the house to the slightly up from there thinks of this facility going right in next to them like that.
I don't think we're allowed to say those words on YouTube.
Might just ruin your view just a little bit out this side.
Yeah.
That's also not your typical house for this neighborhood either.
No, for sure. I mean, you've got an RV park right next to you, basically. Which, speaking of, these lots are only $300 a month. If anybody's looking to move near Starbase and wants to be in an RV. Oh, we got some port pictures.
Yeah, and just to clarify, yes, I double checked, and yes, that's SpaceX. I know they had two TCEQs permits, one being stormwater, one being the expansion. So I never saw anything else regarding any sort of stormwater collection or a lift or anything else. So that's interesting. I don't know what they're. Oh,
It can't be
is
stormwater because stormwater would be below grade. This would have to
is
be a holding tank for water coming out of Brownsville,
yeah?
but
Is
it
this
could potentially be a sewage treatment plant, but very unlikely.
the connection for Starbase water? I wonder.
I mean, it could
Could
be.
be.
This is the main road.
Because I know it's going to go there. Can we zoom in a little bit? We got any indicators or anything else? I know Dave had said that we're just going to connect to a fire hydrant, but this makes somewhat more sense that if you're going to supply a bunch of water, might as well have a kind of a reservoir thing going on.
Any workings like on the street line in the easement area? I don't see anything from my angle.
Yeah, I don't see anything.
They're just going to drain it out of that pool over there.
I think this is the best shot we have of this also. So this is just a bigger hot tub to replace this little small one right here. Yep, that's all. So we'll have to keep an eye on that for sure. Pretty interesting little piece. And we see still putting more piles in over here. Going kind of slow though. It seemed like they went really fast with this first set, and this one is almost like they're doing like a row every couple of days or something. They're going pretty slow. They've been working on this second set for 3 weeks now, I think.
It's been a while.
It has. And then we can see those tanks over at the port.
2 of those came last night to the pad.
Was it
The
these ones or
vertical
the
or the
other
horizontal?
side?
Did I hear Matt?
Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah, what do you say about the?
Oh, I was asking if it was from here or from the other part, just a little.
It could have been the other part. It just 2 of the large tanks got moved to the pad last night.
Yeah, I think it was from the end of the pole connector road. Yeah, the bigger tanks, I think.
There we go.
Why Jake is asking why are they pilot driving in that area? And I believe there are multiple new docks are going in that area.
If I remember, wasn't SpaceX doing this, Event Dudes?
What? No, what? No.
I don't. Well, that's what I mean. If I remember.
No, that's the port of Brownsville. That's Dock 3. That was an old 1940s, 50s dock that they have now finally redone. This is part of their port projects. There's a bunch of them they have. They have different lands around the port that they lease out. They have a bunch of different companies. We could actually talk about one that we were talking about next to the barge. But this is Dock 3 that they're redoing that dock for to basically get it back up to, actual usability versus what it used to be.
Right, and I think you had posted something, wasn't one of these or maybe one a little bit farther down, looking to be replaced?
No, the one I was posting, you remember the barge was at this
Yeah, I'm
week,
trying to get a picture of it.
last week. That's close. It's closer. It's probably good
was
enough.
it
Yeah,
this area?
that's
Yeah.
good enough. Yeah, so that was Weskin Grain, and we talked about we were talking about the old dock wasn't going to be able to handle anything, and we were kind of expecting it to move to Dock 10.
Right.
And basically, they're selling out to now a concrete company to use that area, the 2 buildings, presumably not the actual grain area. So that was trying to be finalized. There was some back and forth because there's a new council at the port that was just elected. In fact, that was the first meeting we had watched with them approving the SpaceX pipeline. So they didn't really know what was going on. So there was a meeting behind closed doors, if you will. So we didn't really get to see anything other than the fact that they did approve this, but effectively Weskin is selling off some of their area to now what is going to be a cement facility.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that as well. I'd imagine they're probably just going to completely level all of this stuff.
Yeah, and the other thing I was suggesting, now we have zero information on this other than one 408 document that's going to go to the US ACE, and 408s are going to be for modifications of docks or channels or something to the effect that is a federal, more or less, entity. And the guess I was taking at is this was a formal request for a 408 to modify the dock area for their new property that they may or may not get down next to the LNG plant.
Yeah, very cool. There's the other tanks we were talking about. So we think maybe a couple of these went over.
Yeah, they had the stub outs like that, so I think it's a couple of these. The little notches or nubs or whatever.
Over to the battleship.
The
As
what?
well as this ship starting to get taken apart.
The what ship?
Aircraft carrier? Better?
I want to say I haven't looked them all up. There is some other ships that I think Mauricio took a picture of. I'd have to look up and see what they are. I think one of them might be some sort of like a destroyer or some sort of escort ship or something.
Right. You haven't sunk my battleship. Yeah, they're kind of going slower all of a sudden. I've noticed. Like, I mean, this guy was sitting here last week also. And it doesn't look like much else has been done. It's almost like they kind of moved over to this one, because I have noticed that this one has been taken apart a lot in the last couple of weeks. All those cranes or whatever they were, they've been mostly taken apart.
Yeah, hard to say if they're working interiorly or they have to clear out some things before they can then do the next kind of level. Because it was, I mean, obviously it's cutting through that. They have no problems, it seems like. So maybe there is something. And the crane has lifted a bulldozer? Is that? Oh,
Yeah, it looks like it's kind of holding him. That is
that's
one of
massive.
those like pinchers, kind of
Shear.
like a Jaws of Life kind of thing.
Yeah, they call them shears.
So,
Yeah,
so
sheer.
here's the plan, guys. All right, I'm going to lift you up in my crane, and you're just going to go over there. We're not going to set you down or anything. Just pick up what you got, and then I'll swing you back over. All right.
Have you guys seen the video where the crane's holding a small excavator with a jackhammer on it? It might even be a skid steer. And he's poking at a bridge they're tearing down, and the thing just goes out right from underneath him, and it's like, yeah, no thank, no thank you.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You couldn't pay. I mean, maybe if I could retire and my kids could retire, maybe I could be paid enough. But I don't think anybody would be willing to pay me enough to do that.
It's a lot. It's a lot, that's for sure. I've seen some crazy crane videos like that, and you're just like, man, what does that guy get paid? Either that or how low is his IQ that they got him into that thing? All right, so yeah, not much to report over here. You'll have to bear
Sounds
with
like
me.
SpaceX is currently setting one of the tanks that they got from the port last night. Thank you, Eggy. Aeggey. Yeah, I'm not sure, but thank you.
Nice.
I have too many screens right now. I can't do cans too.
So it looks like this one's still hanging out. been here a while, hadn't it?
Yeah, months now. No idea what is it demo ship or what it was supposed to be doing. Obviously LNG, but it's just been sitting here. So
They're waiting to be
Really?
first.
No smoking, you think?
I'd have to read it. There's a news article on it about it coming in and everything else. I've never got that far with it on the port website, but
Huh. There's some more being taken down.
yeah, I was
Maybe
curious if these might have been more along the lines of an actual destroyer, something to that effect, but that actually looks like wood. Is that wood?
or just old dirty steel, maybe.
It's probably just old steel. Yeah.
Very cool. What's over there? Bunch of trash and water.
Yeah, weirdly enough, they were talking a big game about having the first new petrol factory or facility here, and I haven't seen any movement over at that lot at all.
Man, all the junk all over the place.
A lot of rescue boats, or
Yeah, that's exactly what those are. Yep. Man. Whew. Imagine the industrial cleanup when this thing needs to go. Golly. Anybody need a fishing boat? There's only about
so
100 of them docked.
they sell those as well. Funny enough, the port does. So they sell fishing locations, they sell the docks, and then they sell or rent, I guess, lease out those areas as well. So there was one just leased recently.
Yeah, I was wondering about that because I was just like, wow, these people just got it made. They don't have to go out and do anything.
No, and I know I discussed this before. SpaceX bought which I didn't even know. There's a fishing house on the beach or next to the beach, if you will, for Boca Chica Beach, and they purchased the lease for that. I don't think they're ever going to go fishing, but maybe.
That'd be interesting. We got the dredgers working over here.
I was going to say, the SpaceX goes fishing is probably going to be for Starship parts.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. It's like, hey, also, by the way, not only are we going to give you an apartment or a house or whatever you'd like to choose here, but we also have this neat little fishing hut thing. It's up the beach. You can go to it. They also just passed their ATV or vehicle registration and laws and rules about those type of vehicles.
What was the law, the conclusion?
Well, it's a new city, so they have to do all the permitting, they have to do all of the platting, they have to do all the districting, and this is just something they haven't gotten to yet. In fact, they just started doing their new, and I don't know if anything's going to come of this, but basically a business commission, so that if they want to entice businesses to come here, which I don't know who that would be or why, but for whatever reason, they now have a commission for that.
This is something I always wondered about, was why in the world the crazy, just weird plotting of this cutout?
That it should, in theory, be the wetlands.
But don't they own all of this anyway?
But it's wetlands. You can't.
Yeah, you can own it. You just can't do anything with it.
You can't mess with it. I'm pretty sure that's what that
I
delineation.
just figured
just
like a
spelled
lot
out
of
to it.
this was too.
I'd have to look at the map. There's very sparse areas back there. Well, by the way, and this is the other thing. That's why they wanted that land swap next to Massey's, because a lot of that is not wetlands. They can just directly build on it.
Gotcha.
Remember, wetlands isn't necessarily wet. It's the type of plants that are there. And that's how they define it.
Cool.
Yeah, still super curious about this particular lot and if it's just an expansion. There's no tabs reports or building reports or anything else going on there. So I figured it was just kind of an expansion lot, like a storage lot, until they come across and start saying that there's going to be a building or some facilities for trailers or something going there.
Well, it was supposedly Huddleston Homes, right?
No, well, again, that's the confusion. So there is a replat next to it, and they made a whole subdivision of Huddleston next to it. Not that for whatever reason. That was a TCEQ license that they're using called Huddleston site. So the home site though is the one that's the trailers are up the road. Yeah. So it's very
Okay.
confusing. That whole area apparently is just Huddleston for reasons. And there is the Huddleston Homes, there is then Ad Astra, which is now the Huddleston subdivision, and I guess this is going to be the Huddleston adjacent subdivision storage lot, or maybe there's going to be some, some more trailers there or something.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that they haven't really moved any of this stuff out yet. We saw a little bit of it disappear, but then it's just kind of been on pause almost. And you would
Which
think that they would want to do the whole thing, at the same time.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of like, well, is it just a storage lot? They needed some extra space, which makes sense, but
Yeah.
it's like, all right. Why didn't you do this before? I mean, you made a whole entire small 5-acre lot up the road for what is apparently now WW Steel adjacent lot.
Right, right. And then we're seeing a little bit more work over here where supposedly there's going to be a field and a field house.
Yep, it's just a question of what type. Are we talking soccer, football, handball, baseball?
It almost
Yes.
looks too small for football, doesn't it?
Well, not a whole stadium. No, of course not. This would be like a half or arena or something like that. And
Right.
if you're talking about the other football, again, probably not. You still have to talk about the a smaller pitch. Cricket? I go for some cricket.
Maybe a baseball diamond?
It might just be a general use thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
To me, a lot of especially elementary schools, they have just a field. It's not necessarily anything. It
Right.
has a backstop generally, but it's not like a purposely built baseball diamond or anything else. It's just a field. So
That would kind of be my guess, is that they would put a field and then almost like maybe a track around it, because, almost every school has some kind of a track. But we shall see. We didn't get a whole lot of pictures from this area.
well, if you recall, during the flight, we were questioning the fact that we were going to be doing the flight.
Right,
So
right. That's what I mean. That's why we
it did
didn't get
turn
a whole
out
lot
that
out here.
that the clouds were in fact not really an issue, but the ones more towards Massey in this area were kind of a nuisance for sure.
Absolutely. Yep, so back over to Rio West. We are not seeing much of anything going on here, but just because pretty much everything's internal now, and they're kind of finishing up the last little bits. Um, I don't know if that's gonna be a I don't know.
Fountain?
Yeah, fountain. Thank you for it doesn't look like it, but maybe.
It just looks very pond-like to me.
Yeah, but it's
Without the
it's
fountain
it's
thing.
kind of filled with the same black kind of substrate that they've been putting in a lot of areas. And so my thought was maybe it will be turned into a playground, like a really small playground possibly, but just no clue.
I mean, it would make sense to have a playground here. If they've got families living in some of these buildings, then yeah, that would be a nice thing to have at this site.
Right. But I mean, I'd almost put a playground somewhere out here maybe, or I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, no real update on this corner lot.
Yeah, that's surprising. They definitely need a corner even if it's just a local grocery store for them only. I guess maybe
Yeah,
they're waiting on the
yeah.
gates or something, but they should start building that sooner than later.
You would think. Yeah, and then we saw over here, we saw a little bit of installing of trees and shrubberies. So we think that might be an extension of Chompy's here, and then possibly another house will go in here, but who knows? They might put this whole area into kind of like a park type of deal, maybe. Other than that, we don't see really any expansion going on just yet into the new side.
Yeah, very interesting. So they built up the road, well, whatever you want to call that. They packed it down, I guess.
Yep.
And then they kind of stopped. And it's interesting as they own most of that land already. And I guess maybe they're waiting for phase 3 from the land swap before they start phase 2. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, they definitely, we saw them working on the road for weeks and then just kind of nothing after that. And you're right, they do own almost every plot in here.
The other thing that's curious, and I don't know if this is a thing or not, I'd have to talk to some electrician or something, but can we just put technically megapacks anywhere and that still can be drawn through the power system as long as it's through the transmission lines down to, like, let's say, I don't know, the launch site?
You mean to store it here and then send it down to the launch site?
Yeah, I was imagining, as a backup power, I guess a double backup power. Not
I
sure that's even feasible.
I don't think so. I don't think that's possible with something this far away.
The reason I'm saying that is because does a whole neighborhood need that many megapacks? Because it looks like they're going to add more too.
They are going to add more for sure. But if you think about it, I mean, these are going to be somewhat electric heavy homes. I'm sure everything in them is electric versus having part gas. So if they want to make sure that, like, let's say in the case of a hurricane or something comes through, they're going to be without power for who knows how long, possibly a week, 2 weeks. I mean, where I am, every time a hurricane comes through our area, we lose power for 5 to 7 days. And it's kind of ridiculous. So it's possible that maybe they're just trying to make sure that they have enough so that they are just not ever out of power unless something, massively critical happens.
Yeah, I feel like that's, especially if they add more, you're talking about a whole week.
For
Easily.
sure. For sure. Yeah, but very interesting. Very interesting to see that they just are not doing anything yet.
You're saying that they own almost all the lots. So
Yeah.
some of those are still private, right?
Only a couple, really.
Yeah, but that would really interfere with a building plan
Well, not
until they
really.
can secure all those lots. They probably don't want to go through and start a project that they can't finish until they buy the lot.
Well, they don't own all of these lots either.
Yeah, they got kind of creative here. I think where that center fountain thingamajig was one of the last ones, so that's why I think is why that's there and not an actual building. And obviously, we still have that one holdout as well.
Yeah, that guy right here.
But yeah, I agree. If they don't have the contiguous land enough for whatever project they're going to plan there, then yeah. But I feel like they have all the top ones. I think they just got, so I think they could build all those houses. And I wonder if they were just waiting and they're just going to skip and they're just going to go straight to their phase 3 land swap.
Yeah, because I think they own absolutely everything in the inside, and then I believe there's just like a couple back here, and then like one or two stragglers kind of around the outside. I think actually they do own this entire strip as well. So you would think that they'd get started, but who knows? Plus, with any
And
holdouts, I mean, all they'd have to do is just give them a gate key card.
and these homes are all being leased, right? They aren't reselling them to the employees. Correct?
I don't
Or
think they're leasing them. I
we,
think if you're an employee and or family of, then you get a selection based off of. I'm sure there's some reasoning behind it. SpaceX owns it, if that's what you're asking.
Here's the other side over here. Huh.
Oh,
A lot of people hanging out.
I want to say somebody other than SpaceX applied for a building, to build a building, a house or something.
Out on this side?
Yeah, it was one of the top lots, if I recall correctly, on the permit. So
Well, I know this one got cleaned up probably maybe a month ago or something. And then this one also got a heck of a lot of cleanup roughly around the same time. And now it's just starting to overgrow because I thought for sure they were going to start building on it. But yeah, seeing a lot more progress on these two. Man, that one's big. Possibly a duplex, maybe, but doubtful.
Joseph Creek Homes has it.
Which one? This one?
I guess in theory, I don't know. It doesn't. I'd have to do some more digging and cross-referencing. I guess it's possible. It's still technically possible. It's a SpaceX. It's just they gave it to somebody and they're doing their own thing. But
Gotcha.
well, the site is located approximately 0.25 miles south of the intersection of Boca Chica Highway and Richardson Avenue. If that narrows it down for you.
Nope. Out here, or because isn't this the Richardson right here?
yes.
Yeah.
So 0.25 miles sure looks roughly like this right here.
No, south of the intersection.
Oh, so
So
down in here.
So on the Tarpon Bend? No. Next to it would be one of those houses. It'd be like one next to one of those houses. Yeah, is what
Okay.
I'm imagining. 0.25 miles down the quote unquote intersection, if we're calling it that.
Oh, so like down this way or down the other
Yeah.
down this way possibly.
Yeah, it says south, so
Gotcha.
yeah. I assume because that's all U.S. property. It's not that way.
Right.
It'd have to be one of those houses or lots, like, or maybe the lot you were talking about. I don't know.
I guess we'll see. All right. So this would be that spot at the port that SpaceX is trying to get or has gotten.
I have no official word of that, but there's nothing saying that they couldn't have done a deal and then they'll be officially done in the next, whatever weeks or so. They clearly haven't started anything.
Right, but we are seeing a lot of pipe kind of laid out here. And this guy's kind of working on it, so be interesting to see what they're doing. Oh, maybe getting ready for that pipeline, possibly? Who knows?
What's not going through here, so no.
Oh, okay.
That was just my theory. That's not actually going to go through here. It's funny. There's still a security area down there that they have a trailer on that land. I think all of that's just from the old that construction project or dewatering project, whatever they're doing, dredging project.
Was this where that new gas and oil plant was going to go, or was that the other side?
Other side, it was a Nova, I want to
Oh,
say.
right.
That was back in 2020.
Yeah, we don't have any other pictures of that either. But yeah,
Yeah.
we'll definitely keep up on this.
Yeah, it's that security site. I'm not sure why it's there, but
All right, over to the LNG plant. Seeing a lot more forms going in for the electric area. Those are some big footings they're putting in. And then we are about, looks like we're getting a little over halfway, possibly, with these for the new tank, the third tank in the series of 4.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
well, I had
interesting.
I had no idea they starting on the foundation for that. Wow.
Yeah, it's interesting how prominent they are because the ones at Starbase are kind of like buried in the muck and dirt and everything else, but these are obviously there.
Yeah, they almost look like screw type piers, if you didn't know any better. And we've got the parts and pieces being stacked and accumulated over here, all the wall sections. And then we'll have a 4th one going here as well. Man, they are just doing so much work on this site. It's kind of incredible to just look around and just because they're all really major construction
Yeah, well, they're trying for train 1 in first half next year, so
Right.
we'll see.
Yeah, this whole project really does just make Starbase construction just look like absolutely nothing, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think didn't you say before that there was like 7,500 employees or something crazy out here?
I was wrong on that. It's 7,500. It's actually 13,000 employees, I believe.
Wow.
Jeez.
That is just crazy.
Although, can't say that surprises me when you look at how big this project is.
Right.
When the
Yeah,
whole
so-
project's finished.
Oh, geez. So there could be more there now than building it.
I mean, just look at the parking lot down the other end. See how many vehicles there are each week.
Just drive down
That's,
Highway 48 when they're changing shifts.
Oh, that can't be fun.
They have 2 stoplights going into their property.
Oh, hey, we have a good picture of that now, and we're not just guessing at Google images or whatever we were doing.
That's why I clicked up there. I was like, ooh. Yeah, those are definitely lights for sure.
Yeah, temporary strung up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You have 2 lanes of traffic going into the site, 2 lanes of traffic going by the site.
Same up here.
It's incredible. You look at this, how many people are working on this and just how large this project is. And then just think about what it's going to take to construct Terrafab.
Oh gosh, yeah. Insane. Yeah, and
Oh,
not only that, but then there's also the solar facility that he talked about during that
Yeah.
that interview, which we didn't even know about that one. And he says that one's going to be 100 million square feet also over in Bastrop. Good Lord.
That's, yeah. How do you even wrap your mind around that?
Right, because I mean, the Austin factory is around 10 million square feet, and that thing's huge. It's over a mile long, and you're talking 10 times that size. And the same with
Yeah.
Terrafab. Terrafab's going to be around 100 million also. So, golly.
I mean, yeah, it's going to be like nothing we've ever seen before in terms of construction. It's just,
And just for context, that was the Bastrop facility, and that was a video that was put out. And I want to say Dan Hoyt was the one pushing that, which is nice because
Yeah.
we get a lot of information. He's like, "Hey, let's talk about anything. It doesn't matter. Let's whatever you want to talk about. It's great. We have this new facility. We have all these things. We have an IPO going on. We have Starlink. We have a new AI links or whatever they're going to call them. And now let's talk about how big this thing's going to be. Here's the one we have at Bastrop. Okay, it's going to be all right. Now we're going to build 10 times that. Now let's go over to what the Terrafat. Okay, it's going to be 100 times that. It's like okay.
Yeah.
It was almost like nonchalantly how he talked about it.
The crazy
By the
part
way,
was whenever he said, "Oh, we're going to do an order of magnitude every 2.5 years." So, AKA 10 times as much every 2.5 years? Yeah, no.
Yeah, I'd love to take a poll or something on that. I put that in the Patreon Lounge, but I think it was 1,000 ships launched in 2028, and then it jumps to 3,650 or something like that, 2029. I'm super curious of how that's going to happen. And also, I want to say the lady presenting either misspoke or was talking about something. She said 3, and I'm thinking 4. Like, unless we're counting 39A or we're not counting the other one at 37, I don't know.
And I don't know if anybody noticed either, but he also just slipped in that they should have rapid reusability figured out by the end of this year. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
They've been trying that since what, S32 was
Right.
technically
Well, that's what I
going to
mean.
be
Like, that's
done,
crazy.
but
I need some of his Kool-Aid.
Is that another ground flight facility they're working on there?
Yep, another flame stadium.
is it
nice.
Dave Limp's more out there, or is it Elon more out there on timelines currently?
I'm going to be honest. I think Dave
All of
Limp
the
is
above.
that seems to be a whole new level of. I don't know how you describe it. You know, they want to have that launch site operational again by the end of this year. I mean, that's less than 6 months to get all that done, and yeah.
Well, similar to Starship's approach of just launching a vehicle they already have and just putting a docking port on it and calling it good, I guess they're going to have to do something similar with the launch site there at 36 and just put some flex hoses or something and call it good because you can't make infrastructure that quickly.
Yeah, it kind of blows my mind. And
By the way,
and then if you want to try to add in Louisiana as well, I mean, sheesh, you're spreading yourself thin.
Still wondering about Louisiana. I'm still waiting for the first sale to drop, whatever else. On the a picture several ago, there was a barge it was pushing. Was it anything significant or just nothing? It was to the right hand side. Sorry. Yeah.
This one?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Doesn't look significant. Okay. Saw the water churning. I thought I'd take a look at it real quick.
All right. 1 second.
1.
Sorry.
You know what? The cladding crew can come over here and just say, "Hey, you know what? Y'all got any cranes?
Yeah.
Sitting around? We just need one.
It could be a couple.
One. Just we don't need a lot. Just one's fine."
They're all here. There's none left in Texas. They can't get one unless they ask them.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, hey, can we just rent one? We only need it for like 6 months. Y'all won't even miss it on train number, whatever y'all are on, 5 or 6 now.
So here's a better picture of the other side of that lot. I think this is where that one facility was going to go, right?
Correct. That was the Anova or whatever that was, LNG that was going to go there. And to the way left of that is where that. I wonder if we can get some. Well, it's going to be kind of tough to get some pictures of it, but we'll eventually have to get some pictures of just completely wetlands nonsense just to see if there's a pipeline going through it.
All right. All right.
Oh, hey, they're We haven't got photos of it. They're down to one operational tower crane at the Roberts Road Gigabay now.
Hmm. I think these are just some extras from the build site from Sanchez.
Yeah, I didn't see where that aluminum machine piece went, so clearly it went somewhere and has now disappeared.
Yeah, I tried looking for that thing like crazy. I can't not find it either.
Oh yeah, I don't know if we actually talked about it yet at all, but we were theorizing the other day about where that second ship transport stand went, and yeah, it went on the barge, the Marmac 31. You'll thank me later barge, and it went off to Florida, and it's now sitting outside the BAB.
Yep,
So that was
everybody
one
missed it.
booster and 2 ship stands, right?
Yeah, one
Say that
booster
again,
and 2
Todd?
ship.
Yeah, so they've now got three transport stands now
Yeah,
sitting over
everybody missed that.
there.
Even
It
NSF
looked
still thinks it's only 2.
the that first ship transport stand, the one we missed. It looks like it did actually go out during that same roll closure as the second ship transport stand. But it was a case of NSF cams were delayed, so they didn't notice, and then I think Lab Harder's cam was looking in a different direction. And I think Starship Gazer had already gone home because he was thinking there was only one stand moving out. So that's pretty much how we all managed to miss that stand moving.
Yep, exactly. Second. So here's the cladding area. Jake, you were asking if we saw any possible work, but doesn't look like it. And they've got frames laid out, but they got no cladding and nothing stacked either. And I'm not really seeing anybody out here either.
There's no bundles either.
Mm-mm.
So they'd have to move over the bundles first, and then they can start making the cladding.
I wonder if they went and worked on another job site somewhere while they're waiting for a crane to show up to finish this job.
Entirely possible, yeah.
Well, but who's the crew doing the lower cladding?
But that's all been done. They haven't touched that for like a couple of weeks. Everybody left.
Oh, I thought the white cladding was new this last week.
It is new,
It
but
is.
I don't know. That's.
That could all be done without any major equipment too. That low.
I should imagine, the same people that do the cladding on Star Factory would probably able to do that lower level cladding on Gigaboo.
Right. Yeah, we see a little bit more concrete being put in here. We expected that they were going to kind of take out all of this, and it's not been going anywhere. It's been pretty stagnant lately. They shoved all these onto this pad that we thought for sure would be getting a bunch more mega packs, and then this one is still missing one of its transformers as well, which I think is interesting because Tesla has a ton of them over at their Austin plant right now. I think well over 200 of them just sitting there, and they keep accumulating more and more every week.
They're probably all slated for Bastrop.
Could be. We saw this area starting to get taken up. And I remember before, I think it was said that, or somebody like BJ or somebody said that these were electrical things, but it doesn't look like they're anything other than just a stand.
Well, we've seen other examples of that with the electrical cable on it. They're just raceways or whatever you want to call
Right,
them,
right.
conduitways. So they built that up. Then they decided to destroy the concrete. They never tied it into the stub out that's next to it, and there's extra components just sitting there. And the other theory was, well, there's a building sitting there, so you would tie it into there. But I don't know. It's SpaceX, so who knows? They changed their plan 5 times before they got to this area.
For sure. Do you think they'll be keeping this little pad?
Seems so. I mean, the guy has clearly gone around it in very careful ways. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I sort of speculated a little bit the other day that all that hardware sitting off to the right there, that some of that may end up going on that pad.
Yeah,
It's
so
to the
go ahead.
just yeah, just to the right of the black fencing. To the right of the I think that might be something to do. That might be why they're keeping the pad there.
Maybe they're starting to extend the rocket garden in anticipation of having more ships and boosters hanging around.
Possible, yeah, definitely possible.
Could be
By
why
the
they're keeping that pad.
Because that is an interesting thought. When they start producing a heck of a lot more vehicles, if they don't manage to get the flight cadence up a lot higher just straight away, where do they store all those vehicles? Because you can't store everything in Gigabay all the time. There's going to come a point where they're going to need to start throwing vehicles elsewhere.
Yeah, and this building sure looks a heck of a lot like that one.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that probably would have been used for when they had the engine installed stand on the pad that they've cut around there on the opposite side.
And maybe that's where all those extra vertical tanks are going to be. Like these.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll be putting some more over here.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's possible.
If you're doing another deluge system for pad 1, they're going to need some of those vertical tanks for that too.
Yeah, that uses slightly bigger ones, though, doesn't it? Slightly taller ones, I think. Because
Yeah,
the ones
we'll
at the
take a
port,
look
they're
once we
fairly
get over
short.
to that spot. But yeah, that definitely, now that we're seeing it, that looks very possible.
Yeah, and on that shot we had these are new shots we haven't seen before. It's a different angle of the grid fin, whatever you want to call those simulator things that were next to the tank up there. We didn't have this shot before. The other thing is I noticed that your lines had squiggly marks on them as well for whatever they're going to line up the SPMTs.
Oh, yeah, right
Oh, the
over here.
markings.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, there were some red lines basically that we just barely caught on the week prior. Let's see if we can see them or not. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it
you
seems to
can
have
just barely see them right here.
I seem to have a bit of a weird habit of noticing lines and flows like that. The painted lines.
But didn't we think that they were a little small to be SPMT parking spaces?
Yeah, but I guess I was just pointing out what we were claiming them to be, so you knew what I was talking about. Not necessarily
Gotcha.
claiming that they were undeniably, SPMT parking areas.
Hey, is that a roof section for the new Pez loader box? It is, isn't it?
Why is it slanted?
I'm sure they got slanted. The other one's got slanted roof on it. It's like two halves that are sloped, tapered like that.
The other one's sitting right there.
That's too big, though, isn't it?
Is that a wall piece, maybe?
Oh yeah, there's a second one.
Yeah, I'm sure they're both for the. Yeah.
This was something I was wondering about too. What they could possibly have hiding under there. Looks like it could be maybe something for the booster to sit on, like around the center. Since we have like this one, this might be the center section that it rides on.
It's got the shape.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah,
definitely
I
not
still
racing
th
between it.
I still think there's going to be a sort of spine of sorts between the cradles. Because you see it with most other uh, horizontal transports for other rockets, they see a spine between them. I don't think it's going to be any different when it comes to the Starship horizontal transport.
For sure.
Curious why it's wrapped, but
Yeah, same.
The trouble with the spine, doesn't it have issues turning corners?
No, they manage it fine with other rockets moving horizontally.
Right, and that's one reason why this would be small, to be able to be on its own kind of turnable base. And then usually sometimes you'll have like the back can turn separately, kind of like an SPMT almost, where some of them can turn one way, the other ones can turn the other.
Because I mean, yeah, you'll have one set of SPMTs or trailers underneath one cradle, and then you'll have a totally separate set of SPMTs under the other cradle, so they can both move freely from each other.
Mm-hmm. And then we saw these this week as well.
Yeah, I do. I think I am pretty convinced now that that other people's theories about those that they might actually be used to pivot the top of the booster, do it for horizontal transport. I think that does make sense.
And then were we thinking that they might be doing something inside of here, and that's why they haven't cut it all up yet?
Yeah, I think they were. Well, recently I think they were using that as a just to test out those two devices on the ground there. They're using the sockets on that forward section. Although they probably would have just used something else if they'd already scrapped this forward section. It just happens to still be there, so they might as well, make use of it.
Yeah.
The way they cut that doorway in it, I always wondered whether or not they're going to put it over in that museum area.
No, they just do that when they're removing stuff from the inside of. We've seen it with a lot of other stuff they scrapped. They just create doorways and then they just pull out all the internals and then flatten the whole structure after that. Then.
All right. Slow but steady progress over here on Gigabay.
And yeah, you can see those tabs there.
Mm-hmm.
When I was looking at this picture on my computer, I saw the thumbnail came up and I saw those clouds and I was like, is that smoke? But yeah, they did such a great job dodging the clouds on this flight.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, the other suggestion for those pipes was the down pipes that you would do conduit or something like that. But it just seems so massive, and there's so many of them.
Right.
And
Well,
also, I don't.
didn't we see some big like circles kind of down lower on this side, right up against the
Yeah,
wall?
I guess
Yeah, but they're not that big. You just mentioned something that I worked in a building where we had roof drain pipes that were that big. And that would make a lot of sense for the roof is going to need to run water off somewhere and to have drain pipes come down through the building to get all that water down.
Kind of like these.
Yeah, only a lot. We had
Yeah,
them internal in our building and coming through the building itself.
Right, but just to kind of give people an
when
idea
you
of what you're saying.
Yeah, I just remember they actually have piles of those pipes sitting on the floors of the Roberts Road Gigabay as well. I noticed.
Well, look at
some,
the back
videos.
side of the factory, all the pipes coming off that roof. So instead of 200 small pipes, you have 20 bigger pipes doing the same thing.
Yeah, it was just interesting that they had some of those T's built into it, because that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Why would you need to connect any of them, or
They did that over doorways, I think. Is that what you're talking about?
I mean, maybe, but we saw a bunch of T's in those other.
Yeah, you try not to have just two drains on the roof. You try and segment it in, 500 square foot sections, and each 500 square foot section drains down one pipe. Or drains into a big pipe, so they could be, leaders feeding the big pipe from the various sections of roof.
It'll be interesting to keep a watch on, that's for sure.
So I'm going to swing a guess that they're not going to try to transport a 385-foot pipe down the highway.
Yeah, for sure. Something I noticed over here too. We thought that they were painting this white, but it is black, so it's possible that they were maybe just pressure washing it.
There were also flanges sitting on the ground up there where those pipes were too, for bolting the pipe sections together.
And then moving over to the apartments, we can see they're getting the last bit of trees and landscaping installed around the back, starting to really clean this area up and get it polished off.
You can see the size. If you look at the roof on that picture, you can see the size of the downspouts. Right, there's two of them together. Follow the right there, and then look down there, and then bottom of the picture right there where you were.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. Got them up here.
And they're about the same size as those other pipes.
Looks about right. Yeah, totally possible. Very, very possible. I would have just thought that maybe they would have run it off to the sides and back, kind of like they did with the factory, because the factory isn't run through the roof. At least not anywhere that I've seen.
That's just a bad mistake.
Yeah, that water's got to travel a long ways to get off this roof.
Yeah,
and
long way.
Creates a lot of issues.
I've just noticed something with those the two new tanks they've just put in place at the launch site. They're taller than the other tanks by quite a bit. Oh dear, it's bad time to have OCD.
Oh, we're seeing a little something going on here, whether it be foundation work or plumbing, or not sure.
Water for the plants.
Yeah, totally could be.
Or a drain to pick up the water from the walkways that are going to go across it.
Definitely not parking. All right. So we've actually seen some more houses start construction as well. Can't really see it in this one. This one is new. This is one of the new ones. This is one that was started a little while ago, a little while back. There's one over here is basically getting finished. Let me see if we have a better picture. There we go. So these are the two newest ones that we see getting started up. This is the one I was talking about that's starting to be finished. This one's been under construction for a while. Then these two started after that. And then now we have these three as well. Do you know, Event Dudes, if either one of these was part of that big, 34 lot sale that they just did?
I would have to look. I have no idea.
Because I remember there was one, possibly this. I'm not sure, But there was one kind of close to the front. I remember that was part of it, but I couldn't remember if there was any back here. I know a lot of the other ones are like out in nowhere land.
Yeah, I thought it was this. The one I remember was on the side next to the apartment.
So yeah, they're starting to really fill up the last little bits. There's not very many more they could put in. Couple here, one couple here, one or two here, and they'll basically be full if they can get a hold of those. We got Starship Park making steady progress. Getting very close to having the parking area done over here. Looks like we're also seeing a pour getting ready to happen. And I think we also noticed that there was some, like another wall that was going to be going in here where we saw the those weird connectors underneath going in.
So is that floor pour or is that the formwork?
Sure looks like it's going to be poured.
Yeah, that looks like the
So
steel.
what's currently there? Is that formwork or is that a previous pour and we're looking for the second one soon?
No, that
Formwork.
metal pan on the bottom, and then what you're seeing there are the stub ups to hold this steel.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, not much else as far as anything that we can kind of say what it is, but there's definitely a lot going on. I mean, we can see the stairs starting to be formed out. What looks like a little bit of conduit possibly hanging out over here. But yeah, that's about it as far as noticeable changes. Wasn't there something here? I don't remember. Looks like we're about to get a wall going over here as well.
There was a wall there. Well, a temporary kind of thing. Wall. You can see the top part of that lot still has the wall. No. Oh, maybe it was those. I don't know. But the top part of the star part has the wall that used to be on the side there. So I'm assuming they're going to build a bigger, more stronger wall to keep out all of the, if they make it public, people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I can see that being the case.
Absolutely.
And to answer your question, it was Texas Parks, and I'm just going to assume the other one was too, but I'd have to look it up.
Yeah, so there's a better picture, and you can see there's actually stairs that go up to it. So that's what makes me think maybe like a little swing set or something maybe might go in there.
Yeah, raised park play area.
Or they just haven't finished the plantings because they do still have some stuff over here. Or no.
It's installing. It's not planting.
Yeah. Yeah, everything's been installed, it looks like. Yeah, see, just like this area. Curiouser and curiouser.
Yeah, having a second one so close is kind of weird. Yeah, keep an eye on that.
Especially much smaller. I mean, that's real small. Very interesting.
Plenty big enough to grow mosquito larvae.
Yeah.
Yeah, talking about mosquitoes, I saw somebody online saying that the mosquitoes were pretty bad out there, but I haven't seen, or has anybody seen them spraying mosquito, the like foggy, what is that thing that they spray? I haven't seen that going on this year lately.
I was going to say, I haven't seen that for a long time. It has been quite a while since I last saw one of those going through Starbase.
Also, this is something that I've kind of come across was, so we were talking about all the mega packs and stuff like that, and like, can they use the mega packs from Rio West, as extra power down here and stuff? Well, I would almost bet you that's what they're using all these Cybertrucks out here for, because they can be used both ways. And so you're basically looking at extra battery storage, so that until they get all like more mega packs out there, they can just kind of use these as a type of mega pack, because we know they are all plugged in, and they're definitely
Never really
not
thought
all
of it.
being used.
Never really thought of it like that before, but I guess it does make sense.
Yeah, kind of like a temporary thing, until they redo the wall and get more mega packs and all that kind of stuff. It makes sense. I mean, they are, what, 100 kilowatt hours or something like that each. So if you think about it,
Yeah, it's like
you
I know
add
they
up
can do
100,
that.
150 of them.
I know they can do that, but I just never thought that that's what they're doing. But it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, because we know that the energy and everything from here it gets transmitted because we've got solar panels and stuff. There's no reason that you can't just hook up a big battery bank to it, just like a regular solar installation. And so that's basically what you've got here, temporary battery storage. All right.
They're expensive batteries, though.
Well, yeah, I'm sure that once they get more
Oh,
mega
yeah.
packs in and everything, then they'll start handing these out more. That would be my guess. But I know that they spent a lot of money on these bad boys. I it, I know I saw the number a couple days ago. I believe it was, I don't want to misspeak, but it was a minimum of 20 million that they spent just on Cybertrucks alone, and they paid MSRP.
So maybe they just don't have the employees that have the status that would get one of those to use it. So yeah, we'll just park them here and use them as battery banks until we have, someone of the right status who is going to be allotted one to make them work, or, to incentivize them to work there.
Yep, absolutely. And a lot of the build site here. So nothing really of note behind. We can see on the side, they are almost done with the landscaping here. They've still got a bit more up front to go. And they still have not opened up this entrance/exit just yet either. And of course the fake plants. I'd like to go back and see like if we see any growth from like a month ago or 2 months ago. I haven't done that yet. Yeah, a little bit
Are they all
closer.
battery packs up on the roof of the garage that I saw?
No.
On the left, in the chargers, that's what I meant.
No, you've
No,
got
they're
air
not.
conditioners and you have some electrical equipment as well as your entrances to the stairwells and elevators.
I was looking at the dark things down the center line of the building. They're not,
Those are just openings,
yeah, just the openings. Okay.
kind of like a window almost, just a little extra natural light.
A little natural air to help
That
keep
too.
the exhausts in there.
Absolutely.
I remember thinking the same thing, like what's standing there when I first saw those, but yeah, then I zoomed in a little more.
There, we can kind of see it a little bit better there, Todd. You can see that it's the metal. And
Yes,
then,
much better.
and then this outlines that wall that we can see, just the extension of this wall, basically.
And there was a big beam under that, correct?
There was a double beam, so there was like a straight beam, and then we had like an angled
Yeah,
to
that's right.
straight
Curved
to
off.
angled. Yeah, and then this side had the one singular large beam.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, they're doing that wall all the way around. I didn't even see that one, that part of it. So over here where the fleet maintenance building used to be, we've got those planters installed. I was kind of surprised to see that they put sod in here. I thought for sure they were going to concrete it, but I guess it kind of makes sense, seeing as how they're going to do those little covers right here, basically just like this area. So I guess it makes sense that they would put grass in. I thought for sure they were going to concrete it, but nope. And then we've got one big base foundation going in here with what looks like another one possibly here, and maybe even a third starting to be outlined.
Do we know what's going in those 3 spots, or 2 spots, or 1 spot?
No clue yet. I mean, at first we thought maybe some more tiny homes might be going in here when we saw all the services and stuff going down, but definitely not now. I mean, it could be that they're just replacing the fleet maintenance building with a much nicer one, but I don't know.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
thinking.
we could dream and they could put a Whataburger there.
Go ahead, event dudes.
Yeah, police station or a fire department station or something like that. But I don't see any required. There's no utilities or anything. It's just kind of a slab.
Right. I mean, we did see some utilities going in, but they weren't anything hardcore. So it just seems like it's likely going to be some kind of a basic building.
Well, they still have the store in this the old shed for the crane, right? The big building right there in the front of, not that one. No, that one. Yes. There used to be a crane inside that building. That's what it was built for.
Mm.
Yeah, it's fortunately not the grocery.
I did notice somebody ran some kind of electrical or cable or something very haphazardly up top.
Wasn't security using the upper half of that, and the lower half was the store? It was the last I knew.
I believe so, yeah. I remember hearing something about that.
Do you want to play What Does the Windows Say?
Oof. Good luck.
Bike Man. Got him.
So we're also seeing some work down here. This little shed-ish type building is brand new as of a week ago. They've been doing a lot of clearing and installing of a few trees. And then I believe this might also be new, but I'm not 100% sure on that one. I do know this one is, though. Be interesting to see what they're putting in there. These trees just got installed the week prior also. And this is one of the only other empty lots left. I've seen this U-Haul sitting here for a long time now. It's wondering if somebody bought it or else they have a very big bill every month.
They doing work in the former Starling building there.
I mean, it
Or has
looks
that
like
been
they're
like that
doing
for a long time?
something.
Yeah.
And I mean, they are kind of doing like a little bit of work on all the different buildings and spaces and stuff around here. So, yeah, I'll definitely keep an eye on that, all that stuff as well. Or
I
just
guess
me.
they're just sort of slowly turning it from, an industrial area into more of a, civilian area now.
Which
So,
makes sense too, because they have this nice
yeah.
little hangout and bar and stuff, and then you're basically surrounded on all sides by residential. So,
You know,
yeah.
it seems like it, but then you see them possibly putting up another little small warehouse or fixing up the warehouses. It's like you think they would just get rid of them and make it. They're going to do it, but it's like
That's
they
why-
can't decide, or maybe.
That's why I said Whataburger, but it could be a community building or something like that for people to hang out in.
Do we know what this building is? I don't, personally.
Isn't that the medical building?
Well,
Is that's the chow hall where you get snacks and crap.
Yeah, you're right.
I thought that
Medical
was
building's
that
the
was,
other one.
no, but that's up here, isn't it?
No, a medical building's that white building. Oh,
White one.
This one
No,
right
to
here,
the right.
or
To
yeah,
the
this
right.
one.
That
That
one.
one.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Right.
There's a snack bar where you can get vending machines and things like that in that building there.
Let me see if I can.
Well,
Let me see if I. There we go.
to be
I could have
honest,
swore that's what this was, because if you look at the parking spaces that are all around here, it says like cook parking and stuff like that.
That's for the restaurant.
And that's food that they deliver all over the entire Starbase from there too.
Okay,
thinking
so
about
then,
it,
huh.
they'll probably, as Starbase grows bigger and bigger, they're probably going to need a much bigger medical facility eventually.
Yeah, I've driven by that
Oh,
building and you can look through and see the machines in there.
Yeah, this is this was community center. Wasn't this community center before Starbase was even here? Where you're talking about the machines being.
Is that the 3D printed building, or is that slightly further along?
The 3D printed building was over by the restaurant or by the kitchen.
Yeah, it's one of the ones off to the left there. One of the smaller buildings, right in that area. The
I
one
thought
in
it was
front of
much bigger than that.
See
Oh,
the
it
one
was
with
fairly
the
small.
rounded corners? See the one with the rounded corners and the left up, two buildings to left, right up against the fence. The other fence. The left.
The little one right there.
That one is the
That was,
printed building.
and it was strictly to show them that they could do it. It wasn't anything special.
Huh. They just look like shipping containers almost.
The company just came in and showcased it and showed SpaceX what they were capable of. That's all.
Interesting. Very cool.
But yeah, they look like shipping containers. But yeah, that is the 3D printed ones. Though, but I agree, they look like shipping containers from here.
They do. Even with like the old, whatever the old, company was.
Well, the way they painted it added to that illusion. Yeah.
Right. That's what I mean. That's why it kind of looks like one.
Yeah, the key's the rounded corners.
Right. All right, so back through all these again. So I don't think we saw much show up this week as far as parts and pieces around here. I know a bunch of this came in, and then, just off frame there. We saw the ridge pieces up here. There, they're starting to come in. Well, I don't have these in any good order right now.
Well, you knew for a whole like whopping negative 2 hours it was going to happen.
Yeah, but blame Steph. But yeah, I know we saw four ridge pieces up over here. I know this we're thinking might be for something that having to do with the nose cone, because it seems to be a bit smaller than the 9-meter diameter.
Yeah, it would give a great platform to work up inside of a nose cone. That's why I was relating it to HLS, because most of the other nose cones, you don't need to get up inside and work like that.
You do. There's loads of work stand inside in Star Battery like that with multiple layers, where there's just the standard nose cones.
Yeah, but they don't have they're different than this one, I guess is what I'm getting at.
Not really.
And hello, beautiful.
Yeah, that's still sitting on that stand. I think the last I saw this morning. Surprised it hasn't been stacked on the aft section yet.
Yeah.
Of course, that's going to have to get out of the way quite soon to let B20 come back in the bay.
It's still sitting there right now. You can see it on the Sentinel camera.
Yeah, I wonder if there's if B20 was due to be rolled back tonight. I wonder if that's now been delayed, because Massey's was closed earlier, and that thing's still sitting in the middle of the bay.
So we had a lot
Mind
of
you,
speculation.
that's not to say that B20 can't just sit out in the ring yard for a bit.
Isn't the ship, whatever we're going to call this, new cryo stand at Massey?
Yeah, that's another candidate to roll back.
Because the static fire stand's already here, so we would just need to get that out of the way.
Except for the cryo stand is not needed for anything immediate.
No, it just needs to get out of the way.
Yeah, I think they parked it off to the between the two cryo stations. I'm sure that's where they ended up the other day in Massey's.
Just starting to see the ridge cap pieces over here. And we are done with this folder finally.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting a chance to see the holes in those ridge cap coverings to see what sort of changes they got going on with the ridge cap for pad 1.
See if I can get to it here. There we go. So we got the 2 more flat pieces and the 2 rounded pieces.
The tacos.
Yeah. This is what you hold your taco shell in to keep it upright while you stuff it full of junk.
Exactly.
And the ones on the right are the sitting stuff kind with the flat bottom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. Oh. Have we got any more questions coming in? I haven't been paying attention to chat.
I don't think so. I don't have the bot, so I don't know if anybody had questions in the past that we didn't answer, but I kind of been keeping an eye on it. It hasn't, a lot of it's just conversation, it seems like.
Steph's answering a lot.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah,
Appreciate that, Steph.
He's been eating an omelette in the dark.
No ketchup for me, please.
Yeah, the only one I had was, oh, hold on.
I don't think there's anything new going on over here specifically to talk about.
All four was asking about the how much, if any, cladding between bays and Gigabay.
I mean, in here?
I would suffice to say that I'd answer that both ways. One, inside of the bay is 0. I
Yeah.
would surmise. And then 2, outside of the bay, if that's what we're talking about, between it and the Star Factory, possibly some sort of gantry or something between it, but that's about it. There's not any cladding.
Yeah, we're not seeing any extra cladding. Let me see if, golly, there's a whole lot from here.
Well, I guess the idea is, are we going to have the ability in the Gigabay to see from the left side all the way to the right side?
Are they moving the bottom half of Booster 21 out?
Yeah. So I was just about to say they're rolling it out of the bay.
They're getting it out of the way for 20 to come.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't think. Let's see. I didn't think that was a possibility. Just roll out the bay to make ready for 20.
I didn't think so either.
SpaceX is watching, like, oh, we should do that. Now let's move it.
I mean, we do know that they do keep up with some of the YouTube stuff. And we definitely know that Elon follows our X and retweets us from time to time.
I think a lot of the people, especially a lot of the engineers and devs, followed as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I'm sure they get some great laughs sometimes with some of the wild things that we come up with.
You know they do.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's probably a board somewhere with our names on it. How many stupid things did this person say this week?
I'm in the lead. I'm in the lead.
Yeah, right. If I'm not, then I'm right next to you. So we're definitely seeing these are those connector pieces that they've put in to kind of hold up the wall and everything as they do some of the groundwork. And it looks like they're getting close to having that finished, possibly. And I can't tell if those are connectors or if those were already there, maybe. Just not a close enough shot. Maybe you can try to get down in there this coming Saturday, Mauricio. If you could try to get some closer pictures up in here, that would be awesome. We haven't been able to see too much in this area the last few weeks.
Don't we have a cam?
We do, but it doesn't really look down there very well. We're kind of out here a little bit. We're more like almost in, or wait, I'm sorry. I think we're over here.
I
if I'm not
swear we had
mistaken.
it down the shot because we were looking at the landing tank or something down that alleyway.
Oh, I think you might be right. Let me double check something here.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. My point was going to be if we did have that, then we could probably go look at that. but
Actually,
if not,
yes,
all
we
good.
do have a camera that looks over there. For you guys to see it.
Yeah,
So yeah, but we can't see this side.
True. Okay.
Unfortunately. So, Mauricio,
Yeah. Because
if
I was
you want to
commenting
move it
about
20 feet.
I was commenting on our bike path had become a river.
Yeah. All right. So let's see what else here. Oh, that was it for this one. Over to the launch site and the ASU. We are seeing a ton of conduit work. Just an absolute S-load.
And speaking of S-loads, they did lift in what looked like the heat exchangers that we have at Massey's.
To over here, or?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's just so much. Just so much. And still so many to go.
Yeah, there's still piles of it unused.
And I think these are probably coming outside to come to these boxes that are kind of covered up right here, I would imagine. Yeah. Wall work. A lot of wall work going on. Basically took it down all the way to the pond down here. Which I guess is a little surprising, as we thought they might just do the little small area, but they decided to do this whole big, huge area.
Well, they were talking a big game about putting in a security wall of like 15 feet. So I'm kind of curious if that's part of that or if that has nothing to do with it. They're just reinforcing it out the wazoo.
Mm-hmm. And the old rails. All the new ones have been installed already. And pretty surprising to hear the amount of weight they knocked off just with drilling some holes in it. I think we were talking about 3,000 pounds total, 750 per side.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think that's what Ryan was saying the other day.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if it was talked about.
Like it's
in
not
the,
nearly as big as it actually is when you're looking at it. But yeah, when you get it, and that's a lot.
I don't know if it was talked about during the last stream, but they have actually started adding more reinforcements on those chopsticks along the tops and some on the bottom. Yeah, actually, you can see. Look at the bottom. Right, yeah, they're adding a load of reinforcements like that on it along the top and the bottom.
Those are kind of interesting, though. They're so small. Huh. Because, I mean, they already did the extra reinforcements that we saw before. Like this one, basically, that were all, around all these corners and stuff. Interesting that they
Yeah,
would need a few more small ones here and there.
I guess they're probably aiming to be able to move these sticks even faster. I guess that's probably why they're putting all these extra reinforcements in. I mean, that's the same thing they did with the QD arm as well. They got that moving faster as well.
Credence had a great question. Is that U.S. tons or? Yeah, a ton.
Yeah. So about 3,000 pounds. So roughly a ton and a half. Yep, so 750 per side. So 750 on the front, 750 on the back. So 1,500 pounds on each. Looks like some skate work or maintenance going on. Homeboy just hanging out, having fun, swinging his feet.
Ducking every time the supervisor comes by.
Yeah. Guys, tell him I'm not here. Let's see. Anything new around here? I don't think so.
Oh, that was another little thing I discovered earlier. So on the mega bunker, on the front, on the Highway 4 facing side of it, there's two little openings. I discovered that there seems to be some sort of HVAC is exits through those openings.
Oh, where
Thought
they
those
cut
were
it
the
there's
gun
also an
ports.
HVAC?
Say that again, Avengers.
Where they cut it, there's an HVAC?
No, there's those two little hatch things that are sort of like quite about halfway up the building. I saw inside one of those earlier, and it looks like you see, I think, some sort of fan unit. I think.
Yeah, they've been there from the beginning.
Down in here?
The two little squares on either end.
Oh, here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Could tell this is just cut out for so they
That's
can
scuppers.
drain.
Yeah.
What have they got in the at the top there? Is that seating or is that something else?
Just can't tell. It's hard to see. See if we have any closer.
The theory should be break room, so some sort of seating.
Yeah, I don't see anything. Pad 1, getting a whole ton more concrete going on. Looks like we fully poured this bottom pad. And now we got the forms up and getting all the rebar in and ready to get the rest of this pad going. Looks like they've got the first stage, the first stage of it kind of flashed in. Way more rebar waiting to go in. Man, getting rusty and dirty. Still getting plenty of work done over here. Looks like they're almost at a standstill. There's just not much more to go in before they move it. Kind of looks like they're starting to put whatever these are in. Some kind of connectors or stands or base plates, something. And we definitely saw some of the wall sections coming in, which is very cool. Couple here. And a whole bunch down here.
Put a lot of pipes underneath those walls, huh?
Yeah, didn't we see that some of these did have like a circular kind of cutout along the bottom?
Yeah, I was just messing around. I thought when I said it, I thought it was a neat idea because you could just tunnel your way through the pipes, through the walls, and then have an outlet out of it, and that would be a good protective way to get, through that barrier because they're having a weird intersection to wherever they're gonna have to put these pipes at. So I thought that was interesting. I think it's just a bracing thing, and I don't know why it's has a circle on it.
Yeah, it seems like it could be a bracing type thing. But do you think it could also possibly be, like you were saying, to have a good protection for the pipes? Maybe some of the bigger deluge pipes are going in under some of those areas?
No, I mean, it's something that could fit there, but it was more of just kind of a joke. I think I'd be super curious if they just had those laying around for some reason, or if there was actually a structural reason on why they chose that instead of just a straight piece of metal.
Yeah, because the pipe is going to go 90 degrees to that. It's not going to follow the wall. It's going to go under the wall or through it.
Yeah, if I remember correctly on pad 2, don't they come in right here? They all kind of come in.
No.
Yeah, whereas those that rounded part on the wall pieces would mean that the pipe would have to use that for piping, it would have to follow the wall instead of go under it.
I was talking about the cryo pipes, but yeah.
Yeah.
A little
Okay.
cheeky, like getting into the corner, instead of going around it, it would go like through the wall kind of situation. But yeah, no.
Mm-hmm.
The water pipe's gonna go straight through it.
All right. So also in here we can see they're kind of getting set up and ready to build that new roof section. Looks like it's possibly going to get stood up right here, right?
Certainly looks that way. Yeah.
Yeah, we got all the cladding pieces, all the edge pieces. So yeah.
I guess it's going to be a case of the buckling crane is probably going to lift the parts of the service structure framework into place, then probably take the end of the QD arm off the tower, and then I guess be reconfigured to lift the roof into place.
And then we also saw a whole bunch more concrete being broken up and taken out over here. And Event Dudes, you were saying it's very likely because of all that locks made it super brittle.
I didn't say that, but my theory was there is a drainage pipe underneath there, and they're going to have to renegotiate that. I think Steph and other people were talking about the locks making that way. I'd be curious if they make that a pond, but I think they're just moving it out of the way to redo a bunch of the piping, and there's also going to be, I think, another expansion or gas expansion area there or something like that.
Makes sense.
Hard to say for.
Well, while we're here, we've been kind of cleaning up this side of this building that we saw heavily damaged.
Would love to see that in the next episode. Oh, by the way, we didn't have a lot of damage, but we blew out a building.
Yeah. We're still the only ones that have talked about it as well. I've noticed nobody else has done a flyover yet, so it seems like they probably don't pay attention to us, or they just don't want to say anything about it.
Y was the same day, I think, in the helicopter. Or at least there was a helicopter.
Right, but I was talking with BJ about it earlier, and he said that they had not said anything about it yet. I don't watch their videos, so.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's true.
Personally, I don't.
That was a really flimsy tin wall. That's why they already tore down the other half of it and replaced it with block last year.
It's just, yeah, it does seem like it was an internal thing in there. I'm just curious though, what internal could have actually done that?
I still think it could have just been low pressure that sucked it out from the launch.
I think it was an explosion from inside. And the reason why is because on slightly better pictures, you can see that there was a whole bunch of pipe work right in here that was all like severed and like pushed out also. So that's what makes me think definitely some kind of an explosion. Let me see if I can get a better angle. I can see why it takes Steph so long to find things sometimes.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of what was in there. This building is mostly electrical.
Well, yeah, but if if something like a transformer or something exploded, I mean, that's going to be a pretty big pop in an enclosed area. No. Closer. There we go. So see all these that have all been kind of like severed and bent out. That's what makes me think that it came from inside.
Yeah, but that could all just be plastic conduit that would have been sucked.
Maybe.
However it went.
Yeah, maybe. That's the thing. Until they tell us, we'll. It's all speculation station over here. But I'm sure one of these theories is correct. It's just interesting that not a single other thing around here got damaged. You know, no roof pieces, no anything.
Yeah, it's just everything else over here is real heavy duty, and that building, this side of that building was just a tin structure. That's why they pulled that other half apart last year.
Yeah.
It does seem odd, yeah. Why they didn't just continue the whole way along when they redid that front of the building?
That's my
Why
other thought,
why
is if they
half?
did this a year ago, why didn't they just go ahead and finish this at some point?
Yeah,
it's odd.
I mean, but it could be also because there is so much conduit and stuff that we're seeing right here. Maybe that's why they didn't.
Yeah.
Hard to tell. So anyways. Seeing a lot more
Oh, did
work.
we?
Yeah.
I was going to say, did we talk about that they'd finished with the piling work in the pad one end of the tank farm now?
Not yet.
Yeah, I think it was what,
Yeah, down
yesterday
here.
or day before. Yeah, yesterday or day before it looked to have packed up.
Nice.
Yeah, finally finished that work.
Yeah, we did see a little bit going on right here already. Starting to get the stands in and stuff. So is this where
Well,
those two new tanks just went that you guys saw?
yeah.
Yeah,
Perfect.
they appear to, if I'm looking at the picture wrong, they just appear to be set about 3 or 4 feet higher than the other tanks. I don't think they're bigger than the other tanks.
Yeah, these do look higher than these stands. I mean, this whole thing you can see is built up compared to how much lower this area is.
Yeah.
There's a pretty, I mean, probably 3 feet step, it looks like.
I guess, yeah, that would explain why they seem to be sitting so much higher than the other tanks.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. So if they just finished the pile drilling, then it looks like we're probably going to see a lot more work done over here on Saturday.
Yep.
Something else we saw was a lot more conduit down here and some conduit work. We saw that. They also cut into this wall here, and I believe this is supposed to be another entrance so that we can do a drive-through. And we're thinking maybe some of this conduit's going to come out over here as well. So look forward to seeing some more of that coming up soon on Saturday. So back over here, not a whole lot going on in this area. We're starting to see they're getting ready to put some walls up, and that's kind of interesting. Not sure what it's going to be used for specifically, but it's almost like its own little pond. It does slowly get deeper and deeper towards the back, so interesting look.
But yeah, on the mud map, that was supposed to be water storage, wasn't it? Roughly in that area, but
right, this whole area. I mean, that's why they had the well and everything.
Those pads there, I'm not really sure what they'd actually be for.
Maybe a pump house. Not really sure.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, this is another thing we'll keep our eye on. Let's see. Is there anything else in the launch site that we haven't gone over?
I think we've pretty much covered everything. I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I did see there was some welding going on along the ridge cap That was last week, I believe.
Oh, they have been they have pulled more skates on the tower as well and been putting them back.
So
Still not.
that's that skate work we were saying earlier,
Yeah.
probably.
Still not 100% sure what they're doing exactly, but it seems like the skates just they're going straight back each time rather than being replaced.
Right here.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Oh, and there's actually go over to the ends of the chopsticks and then to the left where they got those landing rails. There's that ladder looking that was reinstalled on one of the skates in the front of the pillar of the tower. I don't think we actually know yet what that's for. I don't know, it was BJ. I think we speculating there might be some sort of access down onto the carriage from the top of the tower when the carriage is all the way up there.
So these actuators, are these the ones that bring the rail up and down?
No, so those will be the gas dampers. They
For
basically just act like
this, right?
springs.
As it comes and sits down, it kind of lowers it down, or no?
Yeah.
Right.
So you got the gas dampeners, and then you've got a single actuator in the middle underneath landing rail, and those it's the actuators that actually move the rails up, and then obviously the gas dampeners just dampen.
So then likely they swapped them out for new ones.
Yeah, I think they're still missing from some spots as of this during this flyover.
Well, and I wonder too if maybe they're slowly starting to get rid of hydraulic equipment.
Well, I don't think there's actually any hydraulics in those. I think they're literally just like air pockets in them.
Well, they have connections.
That's just the brackets. I think that's just where they pivot on the brackets.
Maybe
because they're not like rigidly fixed in place. They're allowed they can rock a little bit in the brackets.
It's like a shock absorber. It's not a lifter.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
but didn't you say that they do come up and they're able to be
No, not
pushed up?
these. Not these like you see on the crib in here. It's the single actuator underneath each landing rail that moves the landing rails up.
Okay. So yeah,
And I think
these are more like car shock absorbers, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now it makes more sense. Thanks for feeding my ignorance.
It's so good.
Well, this is how we learn, right?
Exactly.
That's the whole point of these shows, is to learn and teach. Oh, excuse me, sorry.
I suppose with the landing rails being slightly lighter now, do they need as many of those dampers underneath the rails?
Possibly not. And it could be why they're switching them out. So basically, just like a car shock absorber, they're not all like one size fits all. They have different different amounts that they can hold, different rebound, etc. So it's likely that because they're so much lighter, they probably did change them to a different size.
Yeah, I think that would make a lot of sense.
Thank you, DMHMT, for the 99 super chat. Late to the party, but not too late to contribute to the goal. I hope. But yeah, we appreciate you very much. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah,
and for those who haven't already, please hit that like button. We really appreciate it. It helps us a lot.
Oops. Okay, got it. I came in a rush. I forgot to mark it, but I'm good now.
All right, so that's basically everything at the launch site. Let's see what we got here. little external. Oh yeah, this is the Massey's folder. So we got a decent amount going on at Massey's. Not a lot going on here. It looks like they are starting to get set up to get some tanks in here finally. Still seeing a bunch of unused hippos sitting around.
I still hate knowing that it's looking like they're going to put that shorter tank into the place next to those new tanks. I think, what was it? Alex suggested it, or someone else. I hate it.
Yeah, we're going to find out. I mean, we do have a lot of tanks sitting around all over the place at the port, so we'll see what's going to go where. We did see the chopstick testing pieces come in. Did they get put onto here?
No, not test article. No.
Oh, okay. That was just okay. Never mind.
No, they were. Yeah, that particular chopstick simulator setup was first used on Test Tank 16, which is the V2 ship test article, which no longer exists.
Right, right. Yeah, I know we had a reference picture that was put up in Patreon Lounge. It looked very close to this with it set up, but yeah, it was an older picture.
Oh, that's another little change since the flyover. They removed the vent stack from the top of that LOX landing tank test article.
This piece?
Yeah, that's no longer on there.
Oh, okay.
So I wonder if they're now going to set it up to be crushed, if that's actually possible in this test stand.
I mean, where's all your crushers?
There's there's that little, what I think is a cap that's been sitting down near the front masses for a while. And if I remember correctly, that black framework around the bottom of that test article, there does seem to be slots for pistons to go in, more pistons.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, obviously they still got to install those, but I think it's possible to crush it. Although I'm not 100% sure.
Well, another question would be, how many of those pistons did we see around the base here, those new ones that we saw? Because, I mean, if they put a different test article with some holes around the outside, those could maybe connect to something on the inside. Maybe, possibly.
Maybe.
2, 4, and now this one looks like it might have 10 around the outside. I think it's 2 per opening, right? So 2, 4,
Yeah.
6, and maybe 12. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So, yeah, definitely could be for over here for sure.
Yeah, by the way, am I seeing things, or is there someone working on that crane right next to the super crusher? Go right down to the bottom. And that is a person there, isn't it?
Yep.
I also want to thank Converted Hydrogen for a $10 super chat. A tiny contribution for all the YouTube content contributions. So yeah, we appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Very much appreciated.
Yeah, and I see the W frame things are still sitting there taunting us.
Just chilling. Yeah, exactly. I really feel like they're going to be part of that grid fin simulator somehow. But that's my crow, and I'm sticking to it.
I still haven't really got much of an answer for them. I'm still, no idea.
8, there's 8, 9, 10. Huh. Some work going on these pedestals. So maybe another
that's
another
the
stand or test area going in?
No, that's where they sit the static fire test stand or the thrust sims test stand. They sit there on that when they're storing it out of the way.
Oh, okay.
In fact, that's probably where the ship's thrust sims stand is sitting right now, back on top of those.
This bad boy.
Yep.
As we see, it has the test hardware installed. As we were talking about the way that the legs mount, is exactly the way they are put in.
Yeah, that was a kind of a turn of events from, originally thinking it might be something to do with TBC testing.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, we checked to see if they've actually installed anything on the frames either side of the trench yet? On the truss structure framework? Because remember there was like brackets or something on there.
I'm sorry, where?
The little directly either side of the stand, that's the truss framework. Yeah, there was brackets on the horizontal beams there. Because I remember a little while ago, they installed brackets on there, and it looks like they were going to run conduit to them, but I haven't checked yet to see if they've done any more with those.
Let's see if we have a better angle. Definitely not that one. Where are the brackets?
They were down a bit.
Like down
Yeah,
here?
right. See, there's that rusty looking beam. Go up a little bit. Yeah, right. Just a bit lower. It's about halfway along the height of that A-frame. Yeah, I think you need to just think more to the side to see it. That'll show you a bit better.
Looks pretty straight.
No, go straight. Yeah, no, go there. Go back. Go to the apex of that A-frame. Go straight down. There. You seeing that?
This line?
No. Halfway down that's it. You were just on it. There.
Isn't that the guides that the cover slides over?
No. That's actually frame steel. And it does kind of look like there might be something sitting on that bracket now. Right, but yeah, about there. Still not sure what they are though.
You can kind of see it a little bit better. Is that a walkway underneath there?
Yeah, there's two sets of stairs. They just sort of float in midair underneath the stand. It's
Interesting.
I can't remember who described it before. It's sort of reminiscent of that picture where there's like stairs everywhere, like going in all different directions. That artwork.
It almost looks like a person standing there. But yeah, it's just a little too hard to see. Looks like, I don't know, conduits, or I can't tell. It's so hard to tell. I mean, we can see there's some scaffolding around here, but I just can't tell what all that is. Looks like we got scaffolding basically up to right about here. Interesting. Maybe we're catching them right in the middle of doing it, or in the middle of taking it down. Because I don't believe that was there last week, right?
Not that much.
Maybe it's just there to block. Kind of like how they put these Great big signs on the ground. Don't walk. Maybe. I don't know. Well, let's see. What else? What else? I know that we saw some testing hardware that we were talking about before the show as well. Steph made a neat little drawing of it. Where is it? You're up here. There we go. Right here. So these,
Whatchamacallit.
yeah, exactly. We did notice that they are relatively pivotable until you get these pieces on. And these have a nice little curvature to them, which it looks like this might be another one right here as well. But very interesting pieces. We think that those are going to be used on the Super Crusher, on those new pistons that we saw installed. Let's see if I can get a good picture of that.
Yeah, it does seem like they're going to be used to pull outwards on whatever test article goes in there. I'm still haven't figured out why though. Why they're doing that kind of testing.
These ones right here from our ground photos.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we think that those are possibly going to get welded on and then have some pushing and pulling going on. So that'll be interesting to see. Let me know if there's anything specific you guys would like to see from our ground shots, anything I need to kind of sit on. Very cool to be able to see all of these connected now and see just how many different forces they can kind of put on.
Well, it seems SpaceX might be done with testing this test article for the time being, because it's been a little while now since the last test. Although they could just start testing again, tomorrow and end up doing like 5 nights in a row more testing.
So what would be the reason for these ones? Because I thought that since all these are kind of individually able to be, done at different lengths and heights and whatever, what would be the point of these ones? Just for slight lateral load, or?
Yeah, even though.
Go
ahead.
No, go ahead, Todd.
But you'd almost think that's what these ones up here were for.
There's going to be a difference of the way the load is just from coming from an angle versus the straight down. I mean, I know they can tweak it just right, but I think they're going to get more of a tilting mode versus the pull straight down on one side versus the shove at the top, motion. I think they'll get more of what they're looking for going on an angle. Then you can't. I don't think you can duplicate that with anything else they have.
I think I think using the pull down rods, varying which ones pull down and.
Right, that's what I would think. You kind of add a little extra here, a little less here, kind of thing would simulate that. I would think anyway.
I think with the bigger diagonal pistons, I think they can exert larger loads. Those sorts of loads on the test article, whereas varying which pull down rods they pull down can exert the lower loads on the test article. I think that's sort of what the difference is here.
Right. More angles, more better.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what else we've got in our ground shots. Some great ground shots of Massey's. I think you guys were talking about this a little bit earlier before Steph dropped out. Over here we can see how it's connected, as you were saying before at the show and tell. You can see the two halves sandwiched and bolted. All right, let's see here. So I wonder what those would be testing. Maybe deflection away from the tank as they kind of push and pull and squeeze.
Yeah, pretty much. Just yeah.
Interesting. Scotch guard. What? What? Unwaterproofed. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Boy, it took a second. Okay. Need to see all the different things they put on those. Alex's favorite area. Let's see here. Hard to see much of anything from the ground out there.
Go back a few photos to the 39.1 on the OG Car Crash. Oh, no, too far. Oh, you lost it now. There. Zoom in just to the left of the yellow crane. Trying to see if there's ground steel on that black framework. Go down. Keep going down. And go to the left. See that? Yeah, is that tape or is that ground steel?
Looks like tape.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like metallic tape.
Okay. Yeah, the reason I wanted to look at to see if they were maybe prepping for something else to be attached to that framework, but no, that's just tape.
So if they put that top on, well, it's going to be right up here too. Right up at the top. I didn't see anything underneath that where anything could attach to. But we'll see. I think we had a kind of good look at a grin fin socket as well. We got to kind of see inside of one. And I believe that's where it connects into, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's so neat to be able to see all this stuff up close like we get to every week. It's cool to see the integrated lines as well for the releases. You can see those at a couple different spots around the top there. They come up to the top here and go out to these releases. We're getting close here. We're almost done. Inside the tent that we barely ever get to see inside of. Not much to see, though. Those almost look like slightly older chine covers. There was something. We talked about something here on Sunday, and I don't remember what it was. I believe they started to add more sections for one of the sets of stairs. We had something about it in our script for this week.
I believe there's been a few flights added this week.
Yeah. Well, and that's it. That is everything. So those are our ground shots, and that was the last one. So do we have any other questions from the chat?
No, not that haven't been answered or talked about, not that I can see.
And we'll take any last minute questions if you guys have any. But before we sign off, we'll let you know that we do have our next flyover ready to go and scheduled. It is going to be on Saturday at 10 a.m. Central. So look forward to that, as we all are. And then we'll have our normal weekly on Sunday, which will be at 12 Central as normal. And Starbase Xpanded again next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central. So please be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, share it with some of your friends. We'd really appreciate it. And I think that'll be about it for us. So thanks so much to Advent Dude. What? Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just saying, yeah, I think we're done on questions. I haven't gotten any.
Perfect. Appreciate that, Todd. And a big thank you to you, Todd, as well, for jumping in and helping out this stream. We appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you. Glad I was here. It's always fun.
Absolutely. Always fun having you around. And Event Dudes, thank you so much. Your knowledge is invaluable when it comes to this show.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm glad I could slide in. Hopefully have some more discoveries with T4 action for the Star Pipe, and maybe some Louisiana action and some other regulatory action. Would be very nice to see.
Absolutely. So look forward to that next Tuesday, guys. And Jake, I appreciate you hanging around for the rest of the show. It really helped.
Yeah, not a problem. I wasn't sure how much of the show I was actually going to do, but yeah, it's always fun to join in with us. So yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. And a big shout out, as always, to Mauricio for getting all these amazing shots and putting so much time, money, and effort into doing this for us every week. So thank you so much, Mauricio. We really appreciate you. Even though we don't get to talk about you or hear you too often, we do appreciate everything that you do so very much. So, let's see. With that, we will see you guys on Saturday at 10 a.m. Central for the flyover. And until then, love, peace, and chopstick roll grease.